Chapter 727. I have no regrets. Qin Chu only said 4 words. At that moment, Huamian felt like she was about to cry. Qin Chu's words were so domineering and stubborn. Even if he bet all of his happiness on Huamin and lost in the end, he had no regrets. Huamin was obviously very sleepy, but she was touched by Qin Chu's words. She put down the brown sugar water, got up, and wrapped her arms around Qin Chu's neck. She hugged him tightly and didn't want to let go. Honey, be good, drink the brown sugar water while it's still hot. No, let me hug you for a while. Huamin was stubborn. In the end, Huamin hugged him for a few more minutes before reluctantly letting go. Then, under Qin Chu's gaze, she quietly drank the bowl of brown sugar water filled with love. The two of them lay on the bed, and Huamin rested her head on Qin Chu's arm. Honey, do you want me to perform for the 30th anniversary? Do you want to perform? I can sing. Honey, be good, let's not mess around. Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. Did he want his wife to sing? Wouldn't that be out of tune? Honey, I'm serious, I can sing a song that's not out of tune. I won't embarrass you. 2 tigers? Qin Chu asked back. Huamin immediately raised her hand and pounded Qin Chu's chest. Are you mocking me? Honey, don't mess around, we're fine, we're not cut out for singing. You and I are responsible for making money to support the family, and you're responsible for being as beautiful as a flower. I'm ignoring you. Huamin doubted that she would sing at the anniversary party. However, the stage was like the Spring Festival Gala, filled with celebrities. If his wife went on stage and sang a song, it would probably shock everyone. Honey? Huamin ignored her. Mian. Goddess Hua? No matter how Qin Chu called out, Huamin turned his back to him and refused to respond. Dr. Hua? I'm not a doctor yet. I haven't passed the exam yet. Finally, when the word doctor was mentioned, Huamin reacted. Qin Chu turned her body over lovingly. Honey, don't be angry. If you want to sing, then sing. If you want to dance, then dance. You can perform whatever you want. Really? Really? Qin Chu went all out to protect his wife. Okay, let me think about it. Huamin was so sleepy that he couldn't open his eyes. Qin Chu leaned over and gently kissed her on the forehead. The next morning, Huamin arrived at Southside early in the morning. Good morning, head nurse. Good morning, head nurse. The young nurses were even more excited than ever. Why are you all looking at me like that? Because you're going to be a doctor soon. You're the first one in 100 years to be promoted from a nurse to a doctor. All of us nurses are proud of you. A few of her subordinates giggled. It's not confirmed yet. What if I don't pass the exam? Wouldn't that be embarrassing? That won't happen, we believe in you. Oh right, head nurse, have you chosen a department yet? Why don't you stay in the orthopedics department? We don't want you to leave. The orthopedics department was indeed the department that Huamin had been in since the beginning. She knew a lot of people here. Actually, the department that I'm thinking of really isn't the orthopedics department. Huamin didn't want to lie to everyone, so she spoke slowly. Before anyone could speak, Wuxia walked in wearing a coffee-colored casual jacket. Mian, come here. What? I want to talk to you about something private. Don't you have to go to work? Why are you here at this time of the day? Huamin looked at his watch. It was 9 in the morning. Wasn't Wuxia supposed to be holding a morning meeting with the employees of the Hua Corporation at this time? Oh, about that, you don't need me. The old man is here. What is it? Speak. At the end of the hallway, Huamin put his hands in the pockets of his white lab coat. You beat Wuxi's face up the other day, didn't you? Upon hearing this, Huamin's expression changed. Chapter 728. He didn't say anything? You guessed right, President Hua. Huamin sneered. Don't worry, Wuxi is probably traumatized by you, so he wouldn't say anything. The other day, when the old man asked him, he said he knocked himself out, but I don't think he knocked himself out. It was obvious that he was beaten up. With Wuxi's temper, he didn't say anything even though he was beaten up. I think there's more to it than meets the eye. I heard that he made things difficult for Jing Jixin, so I guess that you were behind it. You sure know a lot. Huamin didn't like Huasiqian's ability to predict the future. It was as if he knew everything and everything was under his control. I'm here to tell you not to get close to Huasi for a while. Is it because you're going to do something to him? Huamin asked. Huasiqian reached out his finger and flicked Huamin's head lovingly. You have a plan? Yeah, everything is going well. Just wait for the good news. But when the old man loses, he might be in a miserable state. He'll probably ask you and Qin for help. Don't be soft-hearted when that happens, Huasiqian reminded him. Don't worry. I won't be soft-hearted. I won't forgive him for threatening me and my mom with the demolition just to help Xinjiani. Okay, that's good. As long as you guys don't interfere, he's dead for sure. Dead for sure? You don't have to be so ruthless, do you? Huamin had a feeling that Huasiqian was going to do something. It's not like me to cut the weeds without removing the roots. It'll only bring trouble to myself in the future. Don't worry. I won't kill him. After all, he raised me. Huasiqian chuckled. As the two chatted, a sharp voice suddenly sounded. You're really meeting a man in private. Did you take advantage of my son's busy work to have an affair outside? Fortunately, I came and bumped into you. You're doing this in broad daylight. Don't you have any shame? Lady Qin walked over in a black velvet dress, followed by a maid. She had been discharged from the hospital and had returned home to recuperate. However, he was unwilling to let go of Huamin so easily, so he came early in the morning to pick a fight. This old lady, what the hell is she? Huasiqian was stunned. Qin mother. Huamin felt a little helpless. She didn't want to argue with the elderly, especially Qin mother. However, she was always looking for trouble. Her perseverance must be drunk. I'm going to call my son right now and ask him to come and take a look. You're hiding in the hospital corridor in broad daylight. As she spoke, Lady Qin pulled out her phone. Hurry up and call him. By the way, tell him to send 2 lunchboxes at noon because my brother is having lunch here. Brother? Lady Qin was a little dumbfounded. Hello, Lady Qin, I'm Huasiqian. You're from the Hua family? Lady Qin's expression darkened. Madam, I think you misunderstood. That person is the young master of the Hua family, a young lady's older brother. What older brother? He's just an adopted son. We're not related by blood. Who knows what he's doing behind his back when he calls him older brother? Lady Qin tried to twist the truth. Huasiqian's expression darkened bit by bit. There were 2 things that he couldn't tolerate. The first was being used as an adopted son against him. The second was bullying Huamin in front of him. However, Qin mother didn't know what was good for her and committed 2 crimes at once. Huasiqian's expression darkened. He looked at Lady Qin and said, Lady Qin, you should watch what you say. After all, you're from a wealthy family and shouldn't act like a shrew. Not only will you embarrass the Qin family, but you'll also bring shame to GK. Sometimes you're not being direct, you're being brainless. Who are you calling brainless? Lady Qin was furious. I didn't even mention your name, why are you taking it as a given? Also, after seeing you today, I'm suddenly impressed by Chairman Qin. He has a wife like you, but he didn't cheat on you for so many years. That's an extraordinary amount of perseverance. Huasiqian never used profanities when he scolded people, but he definitely made them feel uncomfortable. After Huamin heard how he insulted Qin mother, he wanted to give him a thumbs up. What do you mean? Lady Qin was so angry that her face turned pale. Chapter 729. Auntie, let me give you a piece of advice. Don't think that you can bully Mian just because she's easy to bully. She's just being nice to you because you're an elder, but you can't take advantage of your seniority. You should act like an elder, planting flowers, fishing, and drinking tea every day. Isn't that great? Why do you have to do things that humiliate your family? What if you have grandchildren in the future and they don't like you? You'll feel terrible. What are you talking about? Lady Qin couldn't believe that someone dared to humiliate her in public. That's enough. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. After speaking, Huasiqian looked at Huamin and smiled. Wait for my good news. Huamin nodded, knowing what he was talking about. When Huasiqian walked past Lady Qin, he deliberately whistled. Lady Qin was so angry that she felt like she was going to have a heart attack. Stop right there, don't go. Lady Qin yelled. Wuxian ignored her completely. Just then, a nurse walked over and reminded her, "Please, madam, don't yell here. This is a hospital, please be quiet." "You're crazy. Huamin, is this how you treat your mother-in-law? Do you have any manners? Did I say that you're my mother-in-law?" Huamin looked at her and asked, word for word. "What did you say?" Lady Qin was shocked again. "I'm sorry, I don't acknowledge you, just like you don't acknowledge me, so don't talk about our relationship. If you're here to see a doctor, please wait in line. If you want to see me, I'm not free right now. You can wait until I get off work at 5:30 p.m., that's all." After speaking, Huamin turned around and left. Damn, this little vixen is too arrogant. I'm not dead yet, and she's already acting like this? Does she really think that the Qin family is hers? Lady Qin was furious. "Madam, don't be angry. A young lady might really be busy. Don't speak for her. That's her true colors. Only my foolish son believes in her." Lady Qin originally wanted to find Huamin to mock her and blame her for not letting her son go to the hospital. However, he did not expect to run into Wuxian. Wuxian did not indulge her. He mocked and ridiculed Lady Qin, leaving her no chance to refute. Huamin had been busy with exams recently, so he didn't have time to deal with Lady Qin's actions. Lady Qin walked out of Southside Recuperation Center and took out her phone to make a call. "Northern Metropolis Daily? I want to book an interview. I want to expose the true face of that woman, Huamin." Lady Qin played her old tricks again. Reporters were all willing to engage in gossip because there was something to see. However, what Lady Qin didn't know was that Northern Metropolis Daily was a subsidiary of Imperial Star. So, Imperial Star headquarters, boss. Old Madam Qin is exposing our family scandal again. Should we publish it? And asked carefully. What did she say? Suyu looked at the market trend on his laptop and asked nonchalantly. She's talking about her daughter-in-law in all sorts of ways. She's trampling on her and smearing her reputation. Suyu stood up, picked up a cigarette, and put it in his mouth. The truth was, if he took the opportunity to fan the flames, it might cause a misunderstanding between Qin Chu and Lady Qin. After all, Lady Qin was Qin Chu's mother. However, he couldn't, because he couldn't allow Huamin to be wronged and misunderstood. Give the order. The interview will go on as usual, but the content needs to be changed. That night, Northern Metropolis Daily published Lady Qin's interview and attracted attention from all walks of life. The general content of the interview was, "I ostracized my daughter-in-law, Huamin, because of our family background, but she didn't care about the past and was still filial to me. Why are you acting so strange today?" Qin Yumin and Lady Qin were sitting in the living room and were slightly surprised when they saw the media report. When Lady Qin saw the report, she almost went crazy. "What's going on?" she screamed. Why was it completely different from what she exposed? Did the reporters make a mistake? Chapter 730. Lady Qin immediately called Northern Metropolis Daily again, but no one picked up. How dare they twist the truth? "I'm going to make a scene at the news agency tomorrow." That's enough. Do you think our family hasn't been humiliated enough? Our son is busy with the 30-year anniversary celebration. Don't add to his troubles, Qin Yumin comforted her. What do you mean add to his troubles? I'm doing this for our son's sake. In ancient times, if an emperor had a femme fatale by his side, he wouldn't have lasted long. Right now, our son is the emperor, and Huamin is the femme fatale. Can't you see that? I don't understand, and I can't understand your thoughts. Lady Qin's antics not only tormented their son, but even their husband, Qin Yumin, couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't agree with her actions. I don't need you to understand. If you're not going to help me, then don't go against me. If you continue to cause trouble, then you'll have to stay here by yourself. I've booked a plane ticket. I'm going to Hawaii after the 30-year anniversary celebration. What do you mean? Are you leaving me behind? Lady Qin looked at her husband in disbelief. If I take you with me, will you come with me? Of course not. I still haven't dealt with our son's situation. Then that's it. If you're not coming with me, then I'll have to go alone. Qin Yumin, are you seeing another woman? Are you keeping a mistress in Hawaii? Lady Qin mocked him. Qin Yumin was so angry that his hands trembled. What nonsense are you talking about? What mistress? I'm already so old, how dare you insult me? Then why are you in such a hurry to leave me behind? I already said that I'll go with you after I deal with our son's situation. I don't think you'll ever be able to deal with it. You can stay here and suffer. I've had enough of you. After speaking, Qin Yumin got up and left. Qin Yumin, come back and explain yourself. What do you mean you've had enough of me? Do you want a divorce? Sure, whatever you want. Qin Yumin wasn't threatened by her divorce. He went straight upstairs to the study. Great. Qin Yumin, you don't care about your son, yet you still want to divorce me and say that you don't have a woman. I'm so angry. Lady Qin yelled angrily. The maids were so scared that they hid in the kitchen, not daring to make a sound. It was getting more and more difficult to stay in the Qin family because Lady Qin's mood was too unstable. Lady Qin couldn't enter GK because Qin Chu had grounded his mother. So, she called Qin Chu again and again. Qin Chu pressed the button once, but she continued to press the button. She was very persistent. Qin Chu was in the middle of a meeting when his phone rang. He made a gesture to end the meeting. Then he got up and walked to another room. What is it? Son, come back, your dad wants to divorce me, Mrs. Qin said as tears and snot streamed down her face. Divorce? No way. Qin Chu froze. It's true, he said himself that he'll leave as soon as the company's 30-year anniversary celebration is over. He's in such a hurry to leave me behind. I think he has someone in the States. You must have friends in the States. Hurry up and help me investigate your dad. Qin Chu was silent for a while and then quietly said, Mom, you're overthinking it. Dad's not that kind of person. What do you mean he's not that kind of person? He can't resist the seduction of a little vixen. Just like you, I always thought that my son was the smartest person in the world. But look what happened. He was played by a woman. Lady Qin was speechless that her husband was involved in Huamin. Qin Chu's head hurt when he heard this. Chapter 731. By the way, son, you don't know how outrageous Huamin was today. I went to Southside to register and wanted to ask her to help me, but she ignored me and kept flirting with that young master of the Hua family. She even told me to wait until after work if I wanted to talk to her about something personal. Look at her, how arrogant is she? How could she treat her mother-in-law like that? Mom, ask yourself, do you think she's your daughter-in-law? Qin Chu asked, word for word. You can't treat your elders like that. I think you should keep an eye on her and don't let her get too close to other men. It'll ruin the Qin family's reputation. Mom, I've known Huamin for many years, and I know exactly what kind of person she is. If you're worried about your marriage with Dad, you'd better reflect on why things are like this. Don't lose more than you gain in the end. Also, I've been very busy lately, please don't call me again. Then Qin Chu hung up the phone. Lady Qin was so angry that she threw the phone far away. I'm so angry. Both the old and the young are like this. Like father, like son. I tried my best to persuade them, but they all despised me. I can't live with myself anymore. Madam, your white fungus lotus seeds are ready. The maid said carefully. Get out of my way. I'm not in the mood to eat them. Lady Qin was furious at home. The Northern Metropolis Daily's report had a lot of effect on Huamin. Everyone thought that old Madame Qin was crazy, criticizing her daughter-in-law one moment and then praising her the next. It was all because Huamin kept a low profile and didn't respond, so she seemed to be very magnanimous. Su Yu got off work at the company and was about to leave when he saw Jian Tong walking over. President Su, do you have time? I want to buy you dinner. Dinner? Because it's my birthday today. Jian Tong was wearing an elegant pink dress and a black leather jacket. She looked very punk. Jian Tong was currently the most popular person in Imperial Star, but she was also the most low-profile person. Because she was smart and didn't talk much, she became popular. Because she knew her place, Su Yu didn't dislike her. Originally, Su Yu wanted to refuse. But when she heard that it was Jian Tong's birthday, she felt embarrassed. It's your birthday, why didn't you say so earlier? Wouldn't it be great if the company held a birthday party for you? Su Yu looked at Jian Tong with his hands in his pockets. Jian Tong smiled and shook her head. No, I've always thought that birthdays are more private, so I don't want to be so high profile. I just want to celebrate with my favorite friends. If you don't mind, I'll treat you to a meal, and then I have a party with a group of good friends at 10 o'clock. Seeing how generous Jian Tong was, Su Yu felt that it would be too pretentious of him to refuse. Thus, he nodded. Let's go. Jian Tong smiled and followed behind Su Yu. The two of them chatted and laughed as they walked out. When Mian saw this, she was furious. She walked up to Su Yu and said, President Su, I have a script that I don't understand. Do you have time? Can you give me some guidance? Script guidance is the job of the director and scriptwriter. Don't you think it's ridiculous that you're asking me for help? Su Yu hated Mian more and more. It was one thing for her to have plastic surgery. After all, everyone loved beauty. However, she didn't know her place. Not only did she fight with Jian Tong for Su Yu's favor, but she also constantly harassed Su Yu. Su Yu's words made Mian speechless. Jian Tong smiled and followed Su Yu into the flashy black Lamborghini. Then, they sped off. Inside the Ritz-Carlton Western restaurant, Jian Tong loved salmon, so the two of them came to the restaurant. Unexpectedly, they ran into Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei here. Oh, Lord Su, what a coincidence. Wei Liao stood up and smiled. Young Master Wei, Jian Tong greeted him generously. Superstar, you're getting prettier. Wei Liao saw that Su Yu was eating with Jian Tong and thought that there was something going on between the two of them. Therefore, he was in a good mood. Jiang Xiaowei, on the other hand, was arrogant. She sat there without moving and calmly ate. Ever since you got engaged, it's been hard for me to get you to drink with me. What's going on? Are you ignoring your friends? Su Yu teased with a smile. Ahem, no, I've been busy lately. Wei Liao coughed lightly and then glanced at Jiang Xiaowei. Oh, are you busy making babies? Su Yu asked in a dirty tone. Chapter 732. Yeah, isn't that normal? After all, not everyone is like young Master Su, flirting with girls every day in the name of being single. Jiang Xiaowei was the one who said this. She had always been straightforward with her words and didn't give anyone face. Jian Tong felt a little awkward. She stood next to Su Yu and smiled without saying anything. You guys eat, we'll talk later. Su Yu waved his hand. He had no intention of sharing a table with Jiang Xiaowei. Why are you so rude? Huh? Lord Su doesn't have a grudge against you, right? Wei Liao asked with a smile. I just can't stand how much of a playboy Su Yu is. He pretends to like Huamin, but then he turns around and flirts with other female celebrities. What's the meaning of that? Sis? Huamin is a married woman, okay? What do you think he should do? Publicly become a homewrecker and steal her? Wouldn't that destroy his worldview? That's not what I meant. I just can't accept what Su Yu is doing. Jiang Xiaowei thought that Su Yu and Jian Tong had a special relationship, so she thought that Huamin was being unfair. That was normal. She didn't know that Su Yu was just celebrating Jian Tong's birthday and eating with her, so she really misunderstood Lord Su. Is that young Master Wei's girlfriend? Jian Tong asked curiously after she sat down. She's my fiancée. Su Yu smiled. He still felt like he was dreaming when he thought about his ridiculous engagement the other day. Fiancé? I didn't hear about young Master Wei's engagement. Why is he being so low-key? Jian Tong was slightly surprised. It's a long story, let's not talk about that. What do you want to eat? Order. Okay. Jian Tong nodded and flipped through the menu. Then she waved her hand and called the waiter over. I want salmon, tuna, and white tuna. I also want udon noodles. Conch, the kind that isn't very big. Also, I want flying crab, Argentine red shrimp, and Australian lobster. Oh, and a bottle of champagne. Okay, please wait a moment. As soon as Jian Tong finished ordering, she heard a notification sound from her phone. It showed that your bank account number ending with 6,846 had just received 1,000,000 yuan. Mr. Su? Jian Tong looked at Su Yu, who was fiddling with his phone. Yup. Why are you giving me 1 million? Jian Tong was a little surprised. Happy birthday? I didn't know it was your birthday, so I didn't prepare a present. Take it and buy whatever you like. Thank you, President Su. Jian Tong was actually a little disappointed. Now that she was famous, she no longer lacked money. What she wanted for her birthday was not money. She's not a birthday, at least, a birthday present Su Yu's didn't attest. But now? Although 1 million yuan was a lot, Su Yu really didn't put much thought into it. Su Yu was rich, and it was rare for him to put much thought into it. However, Jian Tong wouldn't ask for more. Because she wasn't a greedy person, Huamin was still working overtime at Southside because 2 patients suddenly arrived at the orthopedics department, and the situation was quite urgent. Therefore, she didn't get off work on time. By the time she finished, it was already 6 p.m. Seeing that Qin Chu called her, she was about to reply. Then she saw a WeChat message from Jiang Xiaowei. I saw Su Yu and Jian Tong, they're eating here. You were right not to accept Su Yu's pursuit. He's such a playboy, Jiang Xiaowei said angrily. What do you mean? Huamin smiled helplessly. Then she picked up her phone and called Qin Chu. Honey, you called me? I was in the emergency room and didn't hear you. Chapter 733. Honey, did you get off work? Not yet, I'm working overtime. I'll probably be back in half an hour. Okay, I'll pick you up in a bit. Okay, see you in a bit. After hanging up, Huamin suddenly remembered something and called Assistant Yang. A young lady, what is it? Assistant Yang immediately sucked up to her. Everyone from the branch company will come to the 30-year anniversary celebration, right? Yes, a young lady. Oh, cancel the people from the branch company in T-City. Don't let any of them come. The accident hasn't been dealt with yet, and there's still negative news about it. I'm afraid it'll affect the celebration. I'll talk to President Qin about this personally, just do as I say. Okay, a young lady. Assistant Yang hung up the phone and called the branch in T-City according to his instructions. Hello, President Jiang, I'm Assistant Yang. Assistant Yang, what is it? Jiang Linyue was trying on a gown at a luxury store. She was going to amaze everyone at the company's 30-year anniversary celebration. It's like this. I just received notice that the company you're in charge of isn't letting you attend the 30-year anniversary celebration because the negative news hasn't been dealt with yet. What did you say? Jiang Linyue's heart sank. I'm so sorry, I should have told you earlier, but I just received the notice. So, President Jiang, I'll have to trouble you a bit. You and your colleagues will have to wait until the year-end employee meeting. Why won't we attend? Because the accident is still negative news, and the company doesn't want to take the risk. Whose idea is this? Is it President Qin? Jiang Linyue felt extremely uncomfortable. Ever since she came here, she had been under a lot of pressure. Not only did she have to deal with the mess every day, but she also had to deal with all kinds of accusations and difficulties. She was also very competitive, and in order to get President Qin's attention, she always wanted to do well. She originally wanted to relax during the 30-year anniversary celebration and come back to see President Qin. But her right to attend was cancelled. It's President Qin's idea. Assistant Yang didn't think a young lady's idea represented President Qin. I don't believe it, I'll ask President Qin myself. Director Jiang, don't be so stubborn. But before Yang could finish, Jiang Linyue hung up the phone. At this moment, Qin Chu was driving to Southside. When he saw that it was a call from the branch company, he thought for a moment before putting on his earphones and picking it up. President Qin, I'm Jiang Linyue. Go ahead. It's the 30th anniversary celebration. Why did you disqualify us? Why didn't you let me go? Qin Chu was stunned at first, then he said calmly, it's just the company's decision. Even if they're afraid that the accident here will affect the company's reputation, just tell them not to come. I still want to attend in my own name. I'm an old employee of the company, and I don't want to miss the 30-year ceremony. So you want to refute the company's decision? No, I just want to ask for President Qin's mercy. Jiang Linyue's voice trembled slightly as she sobbed. Let's follow the rules. I'm driving. That's all. After speaking, Qin Chu hung up the phone. Jiang Linyue was no longer in the mood to try on gowns. She sat in the fitting room and covered her face as she cried. She thought that Huamin must be the reason why she couldn't go. In reality, it was indeed Huamin's idea. After Qin Chu hung up the phone with Jiang Linyue, he called Assistant Yang. What's going on with Jiang Linyue? I don't remember giving that kind of order, right? You're bold enough to give orders on behalf of me now, aren't you? Qin Chu asked coldly. Chapter 734. President Qin, you can't blame me. This is a young lady's idea, Assistant Yang immediately explained. Mion? When did she tell you to do this? Qin Chu was a bit surprised. A young lady just called and said she would talk to you personally, so I called President Jiang. Okay, I got it. President Qin, what should we do? Should we listen to a young lady or you? Assistant Yang asked hesitantly. Follow my wife's orders. Okay. Assistant Yang finally let out a sigh of relief upon hearing his boss's words. He believed that choosing a young lady was the right choice. His boss was indeed a loving husband from China. At a Western restaurant, after eating with Jian Tong, it was almost time. Jian Tong waved her hand. Waiter, the bill please. President Su already paid the bill. How can I? President Su, I said I'd treat you. Jian Tong was a bit displeased. I don't have the habit of letting women spend money. Okay, that's it. President Su, thank you for dinner. I'm very happy. Jian Tong smiled, picked up her bag, and left. Su Yu turned around and saw Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei were still eating, so he walked over and found an empty seat. You two seem to be very relaxed. Lin Fan said. It's a long night, what else could we be doing? Wei Liao laughed. What's Huamin doing these days? Su Yu looked at Jiang Xiaowei and asked. Nope. Jiang Xiaowei lowered her head and said impolitely. Ahem. Xiaowei is having her period today, so she's not in a good mood. Get out, you're the one who's having your period. Wei Liao, are you cursing me? Do you want me to make you sleep on the floor tonight? No, I'm kidding, huh? Su Yu leaned his hands on the table and looked at Jiang Xiaowei with interest. Dr. Jiang, do you have a misunderstanding about me? Jiang Xiaowei looked up, wiped her mouth, and looked at him. What do you think? I don't think you were like this before. What's wrong with you today? Su Yu smiled helplessly. I just can't stand the way you pretend to be infatuated with Huamin when you see him. You've troubled him, and now you're flirting with the female artists under your company. You've misunderstood me. It's true that I like Huamin. The whole world knows that I'm not trying to hide it, but I really haven't caused her any trouble. I don't even dare to look for her. As for Jian Tong, it's her birthday today, and I just transferred 1,000,000 yuan to her as a birthday present. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Lord Su isn't that kind of person. You've really misunderstood. So, can you tell me what Huamin has been up to lately? Su Yu looked at Jiang Xiaowei pitifully. Wasn't he speaking so humbly to a little girl just so he could find out about Huamin? She has been very busy lately. She's about to be promoted to a doctor. A doctor? Wei Liao and Su Yu were both surprised. Then, Jiang Xiaowei told them about how the director of South Side recommended Huamin for the exam. Su Yu's eyes were filled with admiration. That girl, she's really something. She can always do something extraordinary. Huamin is indeed amazing. She got promoted step by step on her own. If she relied on Qin Chu, she could have easily become the director of South Side, but she didn't do that. Yeah, she could have made a living with her looks, but she chose to rely on her talents. I like Huamin because I admire her, Jiang Xiaowei said without holding back. GK's 30-year anniversary is this weekend. Do you plan on going? Wei Liao suddenly looked at Su Yu and asked. Let me remind you, Qin clan couples often do things that abuse single people, so you better think about it. Wei Liao felt bad for Su Yu. What happened on the cruise last time broke Su Yu's heart, and it was riddled with holes that couldn't be healed even after a long time. If he went to someone else's party, he might have been abused. Chapter 735. Of course I have to go. Su Yu smiled nonchalantly. You're really asking for it. What's the big deal? I have to go. Not only that, but I also want everyone to remember me. You're not going to confess to her on stage, are you? Don't do that, Huamin will be stuck in a stalemate. Of course not, I don't want to cause trouble for her, and I don't want people to gossip about her. Then Su Yu stood up. Okay, you two continue being lovey-dovey. I'm going to ask Tang Chuan out for a drink. South Side Recuperation Center, Qin Chu came to pick up Huamin on time. After she changed, she came out with her bag. She saw the Maybach parked at the door. You're on time. Huamin smiled. Where are we going to eat? Or do you want to cook at home? Qin Chu asked gently. Let's go to the old house. My mom just called me and said that Jixin went back. She asked us to go back and make a lot of food. Qin Chu nodded and then drove to the old house. On the way, he asked with a smile, Huh? What's that sour smell? Huamin didn't know what he meant. He sniffed and then looked confused. No, are you sure you smell it? Yeah, it's so sour. I don't know who spilled the vinegar jar. Mr. Qin, there's a hidden meaning in your words. Huamin originally thought that he was serious, but when he heard this, he felt like he was being played. Lady Qin is amazing. She killed her love rival before she even showed up. Mr. Qin you're talking about? T-City. Oh, I was just about to tell you about it. The accident happened not long ago, and if they come, the reporters will write nonsense and affect our company. Plus, they're still dealing with the aftermath, so it's better to keep a low profile. You're right. Qin Chu smiled. Am I serious? I didn't say you were lying. Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. If I'm fine, I'll be frank. I really hate that Zhang Linyue. I just don't want her to come. Understood, everything will be done according to your orders. Qin Chu seemed to agree with Huamin's approach. Then, do you think I'm fooling around? It's a good thing that you're jealous. It means that you have a sense of crisis and that you care about me. Since you're so self-aware, I don't have to worry about you anymore. With that, Huamin hugged Qin Chu's face and kissed him. When the two of them arrived at the old house, it was already 7:30. Yang Meirong had prepared a table full of delicious dishes. Jing Jixin busied himself with his mother in the dining room. However, Huang Yu was nowhere to be seen. Sis, brother-in-law. Jixin came out to greet them with a smile. Where's your girlfriend? Huamin asked with a smile. She had a class reunion today, so she didn't come. You guys are back, let's eat. Okay. Qin Chu and Huamin washed their hands and sat down at the table. The lights in the old house weren't very bright, but it was the dim yellow light that made it seem especially warm. Although Yang Meirong didn't say anything, she took the initiative to put food in Qin Chu's bowl twice. The pork trotters are pretty good, they're very fresh. You guys eat more. Thank you, Auntie. My mom's pork trotters don't lose to the dumbass pork trotters we had the other day. Can I eat more? Huamin also kept putting food in Qin Chu's bowl, and I have something to discuss with you. Qin Chu suddenly looked at Yang Meirong and said, What is it? Yang Meirong froze. Jing Jixin and Huamin both looked at Qin Chu, not knowing what he wanted to say. Chapter 736. Auntie, I've been having dinner with government officials and found out that your land is going to be lost. For the sake of urban development, the government has already designated your area as a demolition zone. So, no matter if you want to build low-rent housing or other developers, this place will be lost. The approval has already been received and will be notified around New Year's Day, in less than 2 months. Already? Jing Jixin was a bit surprised. Huamin was also a bit surprised. Qin Chu had never told him about this. Yang Meirong seemed calmer than he expected. I know, and I'm mentally prepared. I had a feeling that the Hua Corporation was going to be demolished. Sooner or later, your Auntie Wu and the others all have relatives working in the demolition office, so there's news that a new district is going to be built here. So, our old houses will be demolished sooner or later. Huamin really wanted to comfort his mother, but he didn't know what to say. Just then, Qin said, "So, I've already found a new place for you and Jixin. It's a real estate owned by GK, in the new South City, not far from where Mian works. Considering that you're old and don't like living in the city center, I chose a place for you there. It's very green and has good air quality. It's a high-end building and it's also very safe, so you and Jixin will feel safe there. As for Jixin, don't worry, this house is for you when you're old. When Jixin gets married, I'll buy him a new house." Then, Qin took out a few keys and placed them on the table. "Auntie, I'm sorry that I made the decision without your permission. The second building of Sky Blessing Court in the new city in the south is 220 square meters in total. It's already renovated and doesn't lack anything. You just need to move in. Also, considering that you like to grow vegetables, we've reserved a small vegetable garden for you. You're old now, and the layout of the one-story building suits you very well. Mian and I can go back to visit you often. Sky Blessing Court, I know that neighborhood. Didn't they say that it's as high as 25,000 yuan per square meter? Brother-in-law, you're so capricious, and yet you're asking for 220 yuan. Honey, how come I didn't know about this?" Huamin was so touched that he was about to die. Qin did all this in silence. He didn't say a single word, which was really a surprise. Huamin looked at his mother worriedly. He thought that with her temper, she would decline. Unexpectedly, she picked up the key and said, "That's good. I can't stay here. I'll have to move away sooner or later. It's better to be closer to Mian. If you have children, I can help you take care of them." "Mom, did you agree?" Jixin asked excitedly. "Why are you still asking? Mom has already agreed. We'll have a new house in the future." "Thank you, Auntie." Qin finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Huamin's mother did not refuse. "We should be the ones thanking you. You're very thoughtful. This house must be very expensive, right?" "It's not expensive. Our company made it ourselves." Qin smiled. "Mom, when are you moving out? Leave a room for me so I can go back and freeload." Huamin hugged his mother's shoulders and acted cute. The family was happy and harmonious. Before they left, Qin took out an invitation. "Auntie, this is our company's 30-year anniversary celebration. You and Jixin have to go. Also, you can bring your friends too. There will be a Beijing opera performance." "That's great. There will be famous Beijing opera singers too. Auntie Wu and the others like her the most?" Huamin's mother held 7 or 8 invitations in her hands and couldn't put them down. At the same time, she approved of Qin from the bottom of her heart. He was too considerate. He was only trying to please them because he loved Huamin. Love Huamin, love Huamin. On the way back, Qin suddenly said, "Honey, shouldn't my brother-in-law get a new car? Isn't the Chevrolet a bit cheap?" Chapter 737. You're crazy, he's just a kid, don't be so high-profile. Ever since Huasi beat Jixin up, she was even more worried that something would happen to him. Therefore, she didn't agree to give him a better car. "But he's my brother-in-law now, everyone knows that." "So what? We can't change cars, we'll talk about it after he graduates." "Okay, I'll listen to you." Qin didn't say anything else upon seeing how insistent Huamin was. The two of them went home together. The next morning, Huamin drove Director Li to Ni Yang's place to give him all sorts of checkups. Ever since Livy magazine was released, Ni Yang gained millions of fans. He became the hottest superstar in China, with endless films and endorsements. However, Huamin didn't want him to have so much work. Instead, he arranged for the company to carefully select the scripts for him. Endorsements were based on the products, and the best ones were selected. Therefore, even though Ni Yang had a lot of work, he didn't overload himself. After Director Li gave Ni Yang all sorts of checkups, she nodded at Huamin. "You're recovering well, much better than I expected. Have you been working out lately?" "Yeah, I run every morning." "Speaking of which, your husband is so generous. The scenery in the mansion he gave me is amazing. There's even a lake nearby, so I run every morning. There are very few people, so it's very private. Then keep it up, it's good for you. Huamin smiled. Sister Huamin, you're coming to the 30-year anniversary celebration, right? Of course. I told President Qin that I wanted to sing with you, but he refused. He said that your singing is too good, and he's afraid that people won't be able to take it. Huamin was speechless. Did he really say that? Yeah. So I'm curious, how good is your singing? Can you show it to me? No. Huamin knew that Mr. Qin was mocking her. Other people needed money to sing, but her singing was more like asking for lives. So many people are performing for the 30th anniversary. Did you and your wife not do anything? That hasn't been decided yet. It depends on the situation. When they came back, Director Li, who was sitting in the passenger seat, said meaningfully, I heard that you will give President Wu a final answer tonight. I really hope you'll come to the neurology department. I haven't seen such an outstanding child like you in a long time, Chief Li said in a meaningful tone. When the time comes, President Wu will announce the results. I still don't know if I have the confidence to pass the exam. Definitely. Director Li had full confidence in Huamin. When she returned to Southside, she began to get busy with work. At lunch. Head nurse, dinner is ready. Let's go to the cafeteria. You guys go first. I still have some information to sort out. Huamin was so engrossed in his work that he didn't hear anyone enter. Dr. Hua. Someone suddenly knocked on the table. Huamin jumped in fright when he heard the sound. When she saw that it was Su Yu, she cursed, Are you trying to scare me to death? You were so focused that you didn't hear me knock. What are you doing here? Huamian was speechless to see Su Yu at Southside in the middle of the day. Dr. Hua, I'm here to see a doctor. What do you want to see? Sexual dysfunction? Huamin was angry. Su Yu scared her just now, so she decided to take revenge. Su Yu, I suggest you go to a reproductive health center for this condition. We can't treat it here. You brat, do you feel bad if you don't mock me for a day? Su Yu was speechless. Chapter 738. Who told you to scare me on purpose? Don't you know that you can scare people to death? Okay, I'll apologize, okay? Huamin ignored him and continued to look at the documents. Dr. Hua, I really need to see a doctor. My right wrist has been hurting lately. Then you should go to a professional orthopedic hospital. We're a sanatorium, and our goal is to recuperate. I know, but aren't we close? Please? Seeing that Su Yu's eyes were more sincere, Huamin finally put down the documents in his hands helplessly. Come with me. Su Yu stood up with a smile and followed behind Huamin. After all, Huamin was not a professional doctor. She brought Su Yu to the orthopedic consultation room. Fortunately, one of the doctors had not eaten yet and was still in the office. Dr. Sun, please take a look at my friend. He said his right hand hurts. 10 minutes later, the two of them walked out of the consultation room. Did you hear that? The doctor said you're a mouse hand. You've been using the mouse for too long. It's causing strain on the muscles in your wrist. Okay. Su Yu nodded and followed behind Huamin. Okay then, remember to put on some painkillers. I'm going to eat first, I'm starving. I haven't eaten either. Su Yu looked aggrieved. I'm going to eat at our hospital's cafeteria. Are you sure you want to come with me? When he thought of this, Su Yu remembered the Chinese cabbage he ate with Tang Chuan here with Huamin last time. That taste was so sour and refreshing, however. In order to spend more time with Huamin, he nodded firmly. He looked like he was ready to go all out. Huamin smiled and brought Su Yu to the cafeteria. Today's lunch was very simple, 1 meat dish, 1 vegetable dish, and 1 soup. The meat dish was braised pork ribs, and the ingredients were stir-fried broccoli. The soup was beef and radish soup. The rice was yellow, sticky, fragrant, and soft. Since they had arrived late, there weren't that many people left. Not many people recognized Su Yu because he deliberately lowered his head. Then, he sat down in a corner with Huamin. Su Yu was a little surprised when he took the first bite. The rice tastes so much better. Did you change the rice cooker? Huamin smiled but didn't say anything. Su Yu tried to take a bite of the sweet and sour pork ribs. Fuck, That expression was extremely shocked. How can it be so delicious? Is there something wrong with my taste buds? Suyu looked at Huamin. No, actually, our hospital changed the chef. You should have changed it a long time ago. Compared to the previous one, it's like heaven and earth. Dogs wouldn't even like to eat the previous one. This one is really delicious. It's not any worse than the ones made in big restaurants. Huamin only smiled and didn't say anything else. In fact, the old canteen had been monopolized by Deputy Dean Guo's relatives, so they had no choice. Now, the hospital took it back, and the new dean was very capable. After the canteen was filled with delicious food, everyone's mood improved. Suyu actually didn't have a big appetite. A bowl of rice was enough to fill him up, however. In order to stall for time, he deliberately yelled, "Get me some more food, I'm not full yet." How can you eat so much? Did you do it on purpose because you swiped my meal card? Do you think I'm a sucker? Don't be so stingy, I can give you some food. No need. Really, add me on WeChat and I'll send you a red packet. No need. Huamin didn't fall for it at all. He got up and went to get him some more food. After they finished eating, the two slowly walked out of the canteen. Huamin. I heard you're going to take an exam. If you pass, you can become an official doctor. You're quite well informed. Huamin smiled. She guessed that Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao must have told him. I wish you all the best. Okay, I'll try my best. After leaving Southside, Suyu was in a good mood. He drove all the way back to the corporation. Huamin was busy all the way until it was almost time to get off work. Her phone rang in the consultation room. Hello? Huamin, have you thought about your choice? President Wu's slightly older voice came from the other end. Chapter 739. I've thought about it. Which department? The truth was, President Wu was also looking forward to Huamin's choice. Neurology. Ah, good, I knew I was right about you. If Director Li hears this, she'll be so happy that she won't be able to sleep. President Wu was in a great mood and laughed heartily. That's only my choice, but I'm still unfamiliar with neurology, so I might not be able to pass the exam. If I embarrass you, I hope you won't scold me. We all know how capable you are. Work hard, I'll arrange a time for you to take the exam as soon as possible. President Wu, what is it? Huamin suddenly said just as he was about to hang up. How's Xiaoxue doing in Chicago? She's doing well, she'll need some time to get used to it. Her parents are both there, don't worry. What about the baby? Xinyue is very good and healthy, President Wu said lovingly. That's good. I already fired Ning Xiun. Because of this, he caused a scene at the hospital and went to the forums to smear our reputation. I think he's a bit extreme, so you should stay away from him. I will. Okay, that's all. After hanging up with President Wu, Qin Chu's mood suddenly lightened up. In the end, Huamin decided to stay true to her heart. Qin Chu was right, she chose neurology. Xiaowei would probably be even happier to hear this news, because neurology and psychology had a lot in common. Would she be able to ask Dr. Jiang for help if she didn't understand anything? Huamin thought happily as she left the hospital. Tomorrow was the company's 30th anniversary celebration. Therefore, GK's headquarters worked overtime tonight. Huamin ordered a lot of food and drinks online and delivered them to GK's employees. She also personally bought some soup dumplings and vegetable congee for Qin Chu. Outside the president's office, a young lady, Assistant Yang said, Is President Qin here? Yes, but Miss Annie Liang is also inside. Huamin nodded, pushed open the door, and entered with the lunchbox. President Qin, it's time to rest. Here's your supper. Huamin placed the food box on the dining table. Annie Liang sat on the sofa with her wavy hair. Her lips were painted bright red. It felt very ostentatious. She was wearing a short skirt, revealing her fair legs. What's the situation? Looking at Annie Liang, then looking at Qin Chu, Huamin smiled and asked, Honey, you came at the right time. You can tell her. I'm busy right now and don't have time to deal with it. Afterwards, Qin Chu continuously answered phone calls regarding tomorrow's venue and tonight's rehearsal. There were also a lot of foreign celebrities who had made arrangements for their accommodations that night. Do you see that? Boss Qin is busy. You can tell me if you have something to say. Can a young lady make the decision? Annie Liang looked at Huamin with disdain. If you don't believe me, you can open the door and leave. We have nothing to talk about. Here's the thing. Why do I have to sing with 3 other people at tomorrow's party? There's only a few lines in a song, and I have to sing with 4 other people? What the hell? Tomorrow night's ratings will be very high. I want to sing or dance alone, and Ni Yang and Mo Shui both have time to perform alone. Why should I? The president is too biased. Annie Liang was a very troublesome woman. She liked to find fault and compare herself to others. She didn't even reflect on whether she was more famous than them. Oh, so Miss Liang is unhappy with our arrangement. Quite unhappy. I don't even know how those people do things. I, Annie Liang, have won the Best Actress award before. Why do I have to sing with those second-rate singers? Not only is it degrading, it's so embarrassing. If that's the case, I might as well not show up. Annie Liang said arrogantly. As soon as she entered the president's office, she started acting coquettishly towards Qin Chu. However, Qin Chu took one call after another and ignored her. Therefore, she stayed on the sofa and refused to leave. What do you think, Miss Liang? Huamin sat across from her and asked with a smile. Do you even need to ask? Of course I have time to sing alone. It's best if it's between 8 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. That's when most people are watching, Annie Liang said arrogantly as she crossed her legs. Chapter 740. Huamin smiled but didn't say anything. What are you laughing at? Annie Liang looked at Huamin in an unfriendly manner. Ni Yang has 40 million followers on Weibo, Mo Shui has 55 million followers, and Miss Liang, you only have 7 million. Annie Liang immediately looked at Huamin with disdain and said, they bought zombie fans. Mine is the real deal. Don't panic, listen to me. Ni Yang posts on Weibo, and within 24 hours, there are 100,000 reposts, 180,000 likes, and 90,000 comments. Mo Shui posts on Weibo, and within 24 hours, there are 170,000 reposts, 210,000 likes, and 110,000 comments. Miss Liang, you, on the other hand, claim that your numbers are the real deal. You have 7 million followers, and within 24 hours, there are 5,000 reposts, 20,000 likes, and 2,000 comments. Perhaps it was a bit embarrassing to be exposed by Huamin. Annie Liang looked down and played with her nails. She said in disdain, that doesn't mean anything. The numbers on Weibo can be manipulated by the internet water army, including the number of people attending concerts, album sales, and box office sales. But the company's profit numbers can't be faked. I've already seen the financial statements. Ever since Mo Shui signed with GK, she's accepted 3 movies, 7 endorsements, and a spy drama. The pay for the drama is 4 million per episode, and there are 50 episodes in total. Ni Yang, on the other hand, has accepted 2 movies, 3 endorsements, 1 mobile game endorsement, and 7 music festivals. You, on the other hand, haven't received any offers since you came to GK. You didn't get any movies, but you did get 2 TV dramas. However, the pay is 100,000 per episode, which doesn't match your net worth, so the company didn't agree. That means, after the 3 of you signed with GK, the profits you've made are less than 2,000s of Mo Shui and Ni Yang's. GK is a business, and our goal is to make profits. We're not a charity, so we value data. As for Miss Liang's scandal after you signed with GK, we've been trying to fix it. It's bad enough that you're not grateful, but now you're forcing yourself to show up at the gala, giving President Qin a hard time, and ignoring the company's arrangements. Do you think it's a good idea to compare yourself to other artists? Liang Anyue thought that even though Huamin was a young lady, she was just a nurse at the hospital. She didn't know anything other than the president's love for her. Therefore, he didn't think highly of Huamian. But to his surprise, Huamian presented him with so much data. Those words just now had left her speechless, and she was too ashamed to show her face. You know, according to the contract, the negative news about you has already affected the company, so we can completely freeze you. You might say that the company will lose money if we freeze you, since we signed you with a huge sum of money. But let me tell you, GK has always had a lot of money, so we won't care about your signing fee. President Qin is a fair man, and he's willing to give every artist a chance. He doesn't want to block your path to stardom, so you should be grateful instead of taking the opportunity to make things difficult for him. Threatening the boss won't do you any good, really, think about it. As for your request to appear in the primetime slot of the gala, I can tell you with certainty that it's impossible. The program has already been arranged, so you can either sing with us, or you can choose not to appear and we'll replace you with someone else. If you want to jump ship back to Imperial Star, that's fine too. But I hope that President Su is willing to pay you 180 million yuan in liquidated damages. After speaking, Huamin ignored her and walked over to Qin Chu. Annie Liang's face had already turned completely pale. Huamin's words struck a chord in her heart. Originally, she wanted to use this opportunity to scare her boss and tell him that she could go back to Imperial Star if things didn't work out. However, she knew that President Su wouldn't pay her that much for the liquidated damages. She wasn't worth that much anyway. She originally wanted to act coquettishly in front of President Qin and ask him to give her a good time slot. However, she was unlucky and ran into the boss's wife, who made her intentions very clear. You can choose to freeze her or sing with her. Annie Liang thought for a moment, then stood up and said, President Qin, a young lady, I'm still willing to listen to the company's arrangements. Thank you for what a young lady said. Go back, be at the hotel on time tomorrow. Huamin smiled. After Annie Liang left, Qin Chu looked up at Huamin and smiled. Honey, why did you waste so much time talking to her? Just ban him directly. Chapter 741. Forgive and Forget. Plus, Annie Liang didn't go back when Imperial Star's artists collectively breached the contract and put our company in danger, right? She signed a real contract and didn't dare to go back because she couldn't afford to pay the penalty. To put it bluntly, she's just a pawn that Suyu abandoned. Even so, I'm still grateful that she didn't kick us when we're down. Although she doesn't use her brain when she speaks, she's still a good person. She's much better than those women who pretend to be nice on the surface but are actually scheming behind our backs. I'm actually quite willing to support her. When did my wife get involved in politics? Qin Chu put down the documents in his hands and couldn't help but laugh. I saw that Mr. Qin was working too hard, so I wanted to share your burden. If you don't want me to, I won't. Don't. My wife's so smart, you have to help me. Qin Chu had been busy for almost half a month for the 30-year anniversary, and today was the last day. Everyone at GK headquarters was working overtime to welcome the 30-year anniversary. Honey, I'm going to have dinner with a few old performing artists from out of town. They didn't come because of the money, but because they were moved by my sincerity. The older generation of artists are very respectable. But aside from them, there are also government officials, so it's a business dinner. Do you want to come with me? No, I hate business dinners, you know that. Okay, then what do you want to eat later? Ask Yang to buy it for you, or you can drive there yourself. Okay. Just then Yang knocked on the door and walked in. Sir, it's almost time. The dinner party is about to start. Okay. Qin Chu got up and kissed Huamin's face reluctantly, and he went to attend a business dinner. Huamin originally wanted to have dinner with her husband, but it seemed like she wouldn't be able to. A young lady, what do you want to eat? I'll order it for you, or I'll buy it for you. It's okay, talk to the finance department and arrange supper for my colleagues who are working late. I'll take care of it myself. Okay, a young lady. Huamin then went downstairs and sent a WeChat message to Zhu Lingling. However, this guy said that she was doing her hair. Come on. Tomorrow was GK's 30th anniversary. Why were they so enthusiastic? She sent Jixin a WeChat message, but Jixin was at a basketball game at school. It was Huang Yu who replied. Huamin sent a WeChat message to Jiang Xiaowei with his last glimmer of hope. In the end, it was Wei Liao who replied that she was still asleep. It's already past 6 o'clock in the evening, and she's still not up yet? Are you two trying to defy the heavens? Huamin was speechless. In the end, she drove around the city center by herself, but she still didn't find anything she wanted to eat. Seafood, cuisine, Thai pineapple rice, hot pot, barbecue, none of them wanted to eat. In the end, the car drove to the main entrance of Second High. It happened to be the evening self-study period. The students walked into the school one after another. Some of the girls were holding milk tea in their hands and wearing school uniforms. Some of the boys were holding basketballs, while others were holding books. Huamin immediately recalled the memories of her youth. After watching the kids walk in, she drove around to the back of Second High. Xianxia's ramen. Yes, it was this small noodle restaurant. The simple and delicious ramen always made Huamin satisfied. Boss, 1 bowl of ramen. I want a big bowl with extra beef. I'm so hungry. She was like a little girl, yelling as soon as she walked in, "Okay?" The owner was very familiar with Huamin, so he immediately began to prepare the ramen. She was in a good mood, so she took out her phone and took a selfie. At 6 o'clock, the sky wasn't dark yet. The sun was setting, and the light was beautiful and soft. Huamin took a selfie wearing a coffee-colored trench coat with her hair tied up in a bun. She posted it on her WeChat moments and added, "Familiar street, familiar smell." Immediately, people commented, Wuxia and Xianxia were attending a business dinner. The two of them sat next to each other. Wuxia lowered his head and played with his phone. Xianxia immediately leaned over and saw Huamin's photo. He couldn't help but snatch Wuxia's phone and put it in his own hand. "Hey, Lord Su, you shouldn't do this, right?" Wuxia smiled helplessly. Chapter 742. Xianxia was just that domineering. After seeing Huamin's selfie, he refused to return her phone. Instead, he commented on Huamin's selfie. "No smoky makeup bad." Huamin was scrolling through the comments when she saw Wuxia's comment. She was about to explode. "Do you want to die?" She replied domineeringly. "Little sister Mian, that comment was made by Xianxia who stole my phone. It's obviously not mine. It's not my style." It made sense. The only person who dared to make fun of Huamin's smoky makeup was Xianxia, who was not afraid of death. "You're with him?" "Yeah, we ran into each other at dinner," Wuxia replied honestly. "Okay, keep an eye on your phone from now on. If I find out that you're messing around again, I'll blacklist you." "Yes, princess." After Wuxia replied, she immediately put her phone back into her pocket. How did she react? Xianxia asked in an annoyed tone. "She almost blacklisted me." Wuxia glanced at him faintly. She can't stay calm when you criticize her. How can she criticize others so easily?" "You don't have to reason with my little sister Mian, because her words are the truth." "Okay, why do I feel like you're a little siscon?" "I'm not a siscon, I'm a siscon, okay?" Wuxia replied proudly. "Isn't that the same thing? You people from the Hua family are all weirdos." Xianxia commented. "The Hua family hasn't produced a girl as smart as her in 100 years. Wuxia smiled meaningfully. Then, Huamin ate her delicious ramen alone. She didn't forget to send a WeChat message to Xianxia. She didn't say anything and directly sent a picture. "You're at Xian's ramen?" Xianxia immediately understood. "Correct. How blissful." "More." Xianxia sent her a smiley face. He had secretly sent WeChat messages to Huamin when he was busy. The old leaders of the government and the old artists felt like old friends at first sight. He couldn't really get a word in, but with his status, people would often take the initiative to toast him. Xianxia didn't have to drink on other occasions, but since they came all the way here to celebrate GK's 30-year anniversary, he had to drink. Therefore, it was rare for Xianxia to be a little drunk after finishing the ramen. Huamin didn't go straight home because she was still busy at the company. Instead, she drove back to GK. She wanted to wait for Xianxia to get off work together. Little Yang and the others were also working like crazy. Huamin basically signed everything that needed to be signed. Looking at the time, it was almost 9 o'clock. Huamin was a little sleepy and fell asleep on the sofa. In her hazy state, she felt someone touch her lips. At first, she thought it was a dream, but it felt more and more real. She was so scared that she suddenly opened her eyes and saw Qin Chu's face right in front of her. His perfect face was still as attractive as ever, but today he reeked of alcohol. "When did you come back? You scared me." "Just now." "Are you drunk?" "Liar, all drunk people say that they're not drunk." "How did you come back? Drunk driving?" Huamin was a little surprised. "I went to the company, the driver drove my car back." "That's good, let's go." "You're so drunk, you can't do work anymore. Let's go home." Huamin grabbed his hand and walked out. However, after a few steps, Qin Chu suddenly stopped and pulled him back. He pulled Huamin back to his side and kissed him passionately in front of all the employees. Huamin was petrified. If he remembered correctly, he was so busy working overtime today that there were probably dozens of people on this floor. The busy employees were first surprised, then they all burst into thunderous applause, as if they admired their boss' courage. Yang had just finished rehearsing and was about to report back to the company when he saw this erotic scene. He immediately covered his eyes and laughed. "It's not suitable for children." "What's going on? President Qin and a young lady are going to perform a kiss tomorrow?" Sister Yingzi was also speechless. Chapter 743. Huamin must be crazy for kissing in front of so many employees. However, Qin Chu was extremely domineering and didn't allow her to say no. She had no choice but to cater to him. After a minute, Qin Chu finally let go of her. "Isn't my wife pretty?" he seemed to be asking everyone. "A young lady is pretty," the employees answered. "Young madam, you're devastatingly beautiful," Xiaoyang flattered. "My wife is the best woman in the world." "That's right, everything you say is right." "My wife?" Qin Chu wanted to say more, but Huamin covered his mouth. She smiled at everyone apologetically. "Go back to work, we're leaving now. President Qin is drunk. A young lady, I'll drive you guys home." "It's okay, I have a lot of things to take care of here. You can stay, I'll drive." Huamin dragged Qin Chu downstairs. "Huamin, your husband seems to be a bit out of control," Yang said. "Don't mention it. I'll deal with him when I get home. You should get off work now. Don't be late tomorrow, or else you'll be punished by military law." "I'll be on time." President Qin and young madam are actually very childish sometimes. They both look very mature, but after all, they're only 20 years old. There's still a very funny side to them. The manager, Sister Yingzi, sighed. "Yeah, but they're a good match. I always thought they were the perfect couple. They're a match made in heaven." Sister Yingzi smiled. After Huamin went downstairs, he put Qin Chu in the passenger seat and got into the driver's seat. "I'm thirsty." "Here." Huamin handed him a bottle of Evian. "Honey, I'm hungry. Wait until we get home, I'll make you some noodles." Huamin, I really can't help you with that. We can't have car sex, right?" Huamin replied in a low-key manner. "Honey, you're thinking too much. I said I want to live with you at South Hill Manor." Qin Chu was half drunk and half sober. He opened his eyes and looked at Huamin. She looked very serious when she was driving and was quite handsome. He even dared to drive a Maybach at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour. "Okay, let's go home to Nanshan Hill." As for the drunk Qin Chu, Huamin decided not to lower himself to his level, because his IQ was like that of a child's. He thought that there wouldn't be any traffic police at night, but there was an intersection before the highway. Unfortunately, he was stopped. The young-looking young man mercilessly stopped her car and motioned for her to pull over. "I'm so unlucky to be caught like this. I was just a little bit over the speed limit." Huamin was a law-abiding child. He wouldn't run a red light unless it was an emergency. He also wouldn't drive in the wrong direction, nor would he force himself to change lanes and do something so immoral. Today was definitely an exception. Her Mr. Qin was drunk, so she drove a little bit faster. Drunk driving test. Huamin cooperated and blew into the device. Then, it actually showed that the alcohol content was over the limit. Drunk driving? Get out of the car. Drunk driving? Are you kidding me? My husband was drunk, that's why I was driving. You drank too? No, absolutely not. Huamin had ramen and a bottle of mineral water for dinner. There was no alcohol at all. But my device shows that you were drunk driving. Impossible. That's because your device is broken. Seeing how confident Huamin was, the traffic police was a little dumbfounded. He turned around and waved his hand. He called another one of his companions over. Bring me your instrument. So, he took out another one and tested it. The result was the same. How is that possible? Huamin was a little dumbfounded. Then, she suddenly thought of a serious problem. Although she didn't drink, before she left the company, Qin Chu had pulled her over for a drink. Was it because the alcohol in his mouth still lingered between her teeth? Was that why? Oh my God? How could she have overlooked that? She wanted to explain, but she didn't know how to. Driver's license. Huamin obediently handed it over. Just then, the other traffic police officer looked at the license plate and carefully pulled the traffic police officer over. I said, we can't stop this car. This is a big shot's car. We can't afford to offend him. He's the only top-notch Maybach in the city. Even the director of the Transportation Bureau can't afford to offend him. The traffic police officer was dumbfounded. But this is a Maybach? What did you think? I thought the Maybach was a magenta. The traffic police officer wanted to cry but had no tears. So, officers, can we go now? Huamin asked with a smile behind them. Chapter 744. Okay, we're sorry we made a mistake. Please forgive us for causing you trouble. The other traffic police officer was smarter. It's okay. Huamin smiled elegantly, took back his driver's license, and got into the car. At that moment, Mr. Qin had already fallen asleep in the passenger seat, as quiet as a child. You said I lost control because I was drunk, but I don't think you're any better. Then, Huamin started the car and drove all the way to South Hill Manor. A young lady, young master. Uncle Lee, the butler, saw their car arrive and came out to greet them. Uncle Lee, he's drunk. Prepare some hangover soup. Hey, a young lady. Huamin put Qin Chu's arm on his shoulder and helped him walk to the bedroom with difficulty. He helped him change his clothes and take a shower. Then he got him onto the bed. Get up, drink some hangover soup. Qin Chu drowsily got up and drank the soup Huamin was holding. Then he went back to sleep. He drank a bit too much tonight. Alcohol made people excited and magnified everything. Even someone as cold as Qin Chu would do something as outrageous as flirting with his wife in public. The good thing was that they were inside GK. If they were on the street and were photographed by the media, what would they say? Midnight, Huamin took a hot shower and went to bed. It had been a tiring day. She went from South Side to GK, from GK to Second High, and then back to GK. Her legs were sore. She was rubbing body lotion with a bottle. Suddenly, Qin Chu seemed to be mumbling something inaudible. She leaned in close to his mouth and listened carefully. He said, "Don't break up with me, please. Let's go to America together and be together forever." Huamin's heart ached upon hearing this. 7 years ago, Uncle Jing got into an accident. She was supposed to go abroad with Qin Chu, but she broke her promise. At the graduation ceremony, she publicly denied their relationship and unilaterally announced that she was breaking up with him. It was a huge blow to him. He didn't say a word, didn't complain, and went abroad quietly for 7 years. She thought he was living a good life, but now that she thought about it, he felt so insecure during those 7 years. He missed her all the time. He had to fulfill his promise to his father and worry about whether she would marry someone else. He was suffering twice as much pain as the others. No matter how powerful he was, Qin Chu was still a man. He could feel heartache and cry. The only sad thing in his life was when Huamian stood him up 7 years ago and broke up with him. "I'm sorry. I'll be a good wife in the future to make up for the 7 years we missed." Then Qin Chu's Hua kissed Qin Chu's forehead. The night was chilly. Neon lights flashed in South Hill Manor, and a colorful fountain flowed quietly in this castle. Prince, Qin and love, a couple's Chu, love and love. Morning. When Qin Chu woke up, his head still hurt. Huamin handed him a glass of water. "You drink this. I made some hangover medicine myself. It's very powerful." Honey, did I drink too much last night? No. You just me in front of dozens of people at the company. Xianxia. His expression looked like he had been electrocuted. Did I do anything else that crossed the line? You did. You ran naked on the street. I couldn't even stop you, Huamin said slowly. Xianxia's hand, which was holding the hangover medicine, trembled slightly. His expression was as interesting as it could get. Chapter 745. In the end, Huamin couldn't help but laugh. Ha! I didn't know you'd be scared. I thought you'd always be this arrogant and never be scared. Really? Xianxia didn't even dare to imagine running around naked. Of course not, you're my husband, how could you show off your body to others? But I need to tell you seriously, don't drink so much in the future. I'm not the only one who lost control after getting drunk. Okay, I'll listen to my wife. Xianxia smiled and took some hangover medicine. Then, the two of them went downstairs for breakfast. Sir, a young lady just delivered the gowns and stylists. They're all waiting in the dressing room. Got it. Huamin nodded. After breakfast, they began to change and put on makeup. Starting at 9 a.m. today, they would be walking the red carpet. The show would begin at 11 a.m. and end at 3 p.m. Afterwards, they would set off fireworks. In short, they spent the entire day celebrating GK's 30th anniversary. At 8:55 a.m., Xianxia and Huamin arrived at the event. The hotel where the meeting took place was surrounded by a sea of people and reporters. Xianxia was wearing a black suit, while Huamin was wearing a white mermaid gown. She was wearing an off-shoulder gown with a white flower on her wrist, making her look extremely elegant. The appearance of the two of them caused the audience to scream. Many media outlets fought to report on this event. Ladies and gentlemen in front of the TV, I'm walking the red carpet in front of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. The gala is about to begin. GK's president, Xianxia, and his wife, Huamin, have just arrived. The atmosphere is great. Let's take a look at what's going on. Xianxia held Huamin's hand and slowly walked down the red carpet. Then, the two of them stood in the middle of the red carpet, allowing the media to take photos and videos. Then, they took autographs from the hostess and elegantly signed their names on the wall. Huamin's signature was very elegant. There were no flashy cursive strokes, nor were there any formal or regular script to show off. There were only two simple words, Huamin, but the handwriting was neat and elegant. Then, Xianxia, Huamin, and a few other important city council leaders rang the gong to announce the start of the gala. Then, celebrities began to walk down the red carpet. After Xianxia left the stage, he went straight to the hotel's lounge to arrange the next speech. Huamin stood below the stage and was about to take a break when she was surrounded by reporters. A young lady, could you tell us how you're feeling right now? I'm very excited to witness GK's 30th anniversary. My husband and I have been looking forward to it for a long time. Thank you for your support. Young madam, I heard that your relationship with your mother-in-law has improved. Is that true? I'm a young lady. There's a rumor going around that you're pregnant. Is that true? I'll let you guys know if there's good news. Thank you for your attention. Huamin continued to smile. A young lady, about Ni Yang and Mo Shui. Is GK doing any big promotions in the second half of the year? We've accepted a few movies, and they're in the process of being filmed. Please follow the official announcement for details. Thank you. A young lady, there's a rumor going around that a third party is involved in your relationship. Is the third party a man or a woman? We're in a great relationship, there's no third party. A young lady, are you done with T-City? I heard that the victim's family isn't happy with the compensation and is going to appeal. We have a professional team of lawyers working on it. I believe in our country's laws, and we'll do whatever the court decides to do. I'm sure we'll give everyone a fair answer. A young lady, there's a rumor going around that Southside Recuperation Center is shady and doesn't pay for surgeries. They only care about money and don't care about the patients' lives. What do you think? There were indeed reporters who didn't care about their own lives. They constantly attacked Huamin, and the questions they asked were impossible to answer. Chapter 746. The truth was, Huamin didn't have to answer, but she didn't evade the question. She was truly welcoming. It's simple, it's the same all over the country. In the past, there were cases where patients didn't pay for surgery, but the doctors and nurses who performed the surgery had to pay for it. So, it's a matter of opinion. If it's really because they don't have the money, Southside's Hua Corporation will help them. If it's because they want to take advantage of the situation, then I'm sorry, the medical staff at Southside are angels in white, but we're not a charity organization. We don't have the ability to pay for this. Huamin's answers were flawless. She faced all the questions thrown at her by the media, and many of the questions were sensitive and mean. However, she didn't get angry and instead, she answered them patiently. This left a good impression on the media. After the interview, Huamin ordered the company to distribute drinks and snacks to the media, which won her a round of applause. My sister. It's such a shame that she didn't enter the business world and chose to be a doctor. Otherwise, she would have been a career woman. Not far away, Huaxiqian sat in the RV and watched the live broadcast with a smile on his face. After Huamin finished her interview, she walked into the hotel and saw many guests checking in one after another. Girl. When she heard someone call her, she turned her head and saw Zhu Lingling in a pink gown. She was no longer wearing heavy makeup. Instead, she looked soft and tender, and her makeup was very beautiful. Gao Ran was wearing a navy blue slim-fit suit. Beside her, they seemed to be in sync with each other. Did you two spend the night together? Why are you so in sync today? I can't believe you're still making fun of us on a day like this. It doesn't fit your identity as a young lady, okay? Zhu Lingling chuckled. You two should go in and sit down. The seats are great, the view is great. Oh, thank you big girl moi. Zhu Lingling intimately pinched Huamin's face and held onto Gao Ran's hand as they walked inside. However, they ran into an uninvited guest at the corner, Lin Xuejiao. She actually came too. The most surprising thing was that she was wearing the same color as Zhu Lingling's dress, but the style was different. I can't believe they're wearing the same outfit. How unlucky can I be? Zhu Lingling cursed in her mind. There was a young man standing beside Lin Xuejiao. He must be a rich second-generation heir as well. Gao Ran heard that she later hooked up with a rich man and it seemed like they were about to get engaged. It was just that they didn't expect to bump into each other on such an occasion. It was simply a narrow path. Hey, what a coincidence! Lin Xuejiao greeted him. Jiao Jiao, are they your friends? The man looked at Gao Ran and asked. Oh, no, he's my colleague from our bureau. Lin Xuejiao directly denied that she had ever dated Gao Ran. This green tea bitch was truly intoxicating. Zhu Lingling didn't care so much and said directly, Dear, I didn't expect to meet your ex-girlfriend here. What a coincidence. Ex-girlfriend? The man was a little surprised. Lin Xuejiao's expression changed slightly and she immediately explained, My family tried to set us up, but we didn't succeed. Then Lin Xuejiao looked at Zhu Lingling and teased, What a coincidence, our dresses are the same color. The only difference is that mine is the latest European style, while yours is from early spring. There's a difference of 2 seasons. Yeah, with my income, I can only wear an outdated style. I can't compare to Miss Lin. You're getting rich faster than I can change clothes. You have a lot of money, so of course you don't lack money. It's not surprising that you're wearing a limited edition style. You? Lin Xuejiao was furious when she heard Zhu Lingling's sarcastic remarks. Pa, I'm just joking, don't take it seriously. Okay, enough chit-chat, we're going in to watch the show. After speaking, Zhu Lingling held onto Gao Ran's arm and walked in intimately. Dear, don't listen to that woman's nonsense. She's just jealous that she's wearing the same outfit as me, but she's not as pretty as me. After Gao Ran and the others went in, Lin Xuejiao quickly explained to her boyfriend, Huamin was waiting for Zhixin and his mother, but they were nowhere to be seen. He couldn't get through to them on the phone either. Just then he saw Jiang Shaowei and Wei Liao from afar. Wei Liao was wearing a black tuxedo, and Jiang Shaowei was wearing a long aqua blue dress that trailed on the floor. They looked very elegant. Other than Tang Chuan, there was also Su Yu, who was wearing a white suit. Huamin. Jiang Shaowei smiled and waved her hand. Huamin walked towards them. Chapter 747. Hey, you guys are here? Huamin's "you guys" summed up everyone. You look beautiful today. Jiang Shaowei intimately held onto Huamin's hand. You're dressed beautifully too, young Master Wei is so generous. It's okay for my woman to spend more money. Wei Liao looked at Jiang Shaowei with a sweet gaze. Although Huamin hadn't hung out with them recently, he could tell that they were in a good mood. He guessed that they were getting along quite well. The Jiang family was a scholarly family, and Jiang Shaowei was a straight-A student. The Wei family was a prestigious aristocrat, and Wei Liao was a second-generation rich kid. People said that money wasn't everything in this day and age, but it was absolutely impossible to live without money. Poor couples had 100 sorrows, and there were often couples who quarreled because they had no money. However, there had never been a couple who fought because they had too much money. Therefore, foreign experts said that a beautiful marriage was built on the foundation of money, and there was nothing wrong with that. I just saw your interview, your answers were amazing, just like Huamin. Wei Liao gave him a thumbs up. I was just trying to get rid of the media, don't make fun of me. Huamin, I heard that you chose neurology. Yup. I love you so much, after the ceremony, I'll talk to you about academics. Jiang Shaowei was a workaholic. No problem, I'll wait for you. You two are so dedicated, you don't even forget to talk about work in a situation like this. Wei Liao chuckled. Tang Chuan nudged Su Yu from behind. Go, Lord Su, it's rare for us to meet and talk. Hey! Su Yu was surprisingly reserved. Huamin smiled and nodded. I think that smoky makeup suits you better. Su Yu's one sentence completely ruined the atmosphere. Security, please help me get this person out of here, thank you. As soon as Huamin and Su Yu exchanged words, everyone burst out laughing. Of course, he wasn't really going to ask Su Yu to leave. It was just that the way he spoke was simply driving people crazy. Ha! Lord Su, you're a high-class hater. Tang Chuan laughed until his stomach hurt. I'm just stating facts. I'm not that fake. I won't flatter you. Telling the truth is not the same as not knowing how to talk. You're just asking for a beating. After fooling around for a while, they entered the venue one after another. It was about to start when Huamin saw Zhixin and his mother arrive. Why are you so late? Don't talk about it. When we went to pick you up, she said something came up at the last minute, like she was pregnant or something. She said she didn't need to go to the hospital, so it took a long time. There was even a traffic jam on the way from her house. Mom, your dress is beautiful. Huamin asked someone to prepare dresses for Zhixin and his mother in advance. I can't believe you chose such a brightly colored dress for me. Although Yang Meirong said that, she was still in a good mood. Huamin was worried that she wouldn't wear it, but to his surprise, she actually did. She wore a bright red velvet qipao, a classic Chinese style. It was very beautiful and classy. No one would dare to call Yang Meirong a commoner. Jing Zhixin, on the other hand, wore a sapphire vest, suit pants, and black leather shoes. He looked much more mature. Hurry up and go in, you and Mom can sit in the second row. Okay, thanks sis, I love you. Jing Zhixin and his mother also entered the venue. Huamin also walked in and bumped into Qin Chu, who had just arrived as well. The venue was too cold, especially in the first row. Huamin shivered from the cold. Qin Chu quietly took off his jacket and put it on Huamin. The two of them sat in the first row, arm in arm, and watched the performance. Honey. Yeah. Are your parents here? Huamin didn't seem to see Qin Chu's parents, so he couldn't help but feel a little strange. Chapter 748. I didn't ask them to come. I don't think that's a good idea. The 30th anniversary is very important to your dad. Huamin was a little surprised. My dad gave up because he was afraid that my mom would come and cause a scene, so they didn't come. I'm sorry. Huamin felt bad, so she reached out and grabbed Qin Chu's hand. Why are you apologizing? He looked at her gently. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have such a tense relationship with them. You can't even come to the 30th anniversary. You don't have to apologize, dummy. I don't care if I have to bear a bad reputation for the rest of my life for you. Qin Chu never thought that what he did for Huamin was wrong, plus, he wasn't unfilial to his parents. Their relationship was just a little tense. Her father already understood Huamin and accepted her, so she didn't want to bring negative news to GK. Qin Yumin flew out of the city today and went to the States. Her mother was throwing a tantrum at home, crying and yelling. She even wanted to come to the concert, but thankfully, Qin Chu arranged for her to be grounded. For bodyguards were standing outside the Qin manor, and Mrs. Qin screamed and yelled like a crazy woman, crying and making a scene. However, she still couldn't walk out of the Qin manor. This was the first anniversary celebration Qin Chu prepared since he became the president, and he didn't want anything to go wrong. He had already seen his mother's incomprehension. That was why he came up with this plan. At 9:30 p.m., the performance officially began. The famous male and female hosts walked onto the stage and gave a wonderful opening speech. Then, they started singing and dancing. The sound in the venue was excellent, comparable to that of a big concert venue. Honey, how much do we have to pay the hotel for a performance like this? Huamin always thought that the Ritz-Carlton was too expensive. Although the environment was good and everything was good, the price of a normal room was over 1,900 yuan, even during the off-season. Now that so many people from GK came to live and eat here, and then perform in such a big venue, wouldn't that be astronomical? It's free. Did they sponsor it? Huamin was surprised. No, I bought them. Alright. Tycoon, you're really capricious. Huamin finally understood why so many meetings were held at the Ritz-Carlton. It turned out that Qin Chu had bought this place, and it now belonged to GK. This was the first time she had heard Ni Yang sing live, and she was surprised to find that his singing was very good. It wasn't the kind of Korean songs and dances that she couldn't understand. It was just simple Mandarin, and the style of the song was a folk song. Ni Yang was holding a simple wooden guitar, playing and singing at the same time. From the moment he stepped onto the stage, the entire audience screamed uncontrollably. Looks like he really is a popular idol. That song is called Warm. Huamin listened attentively and was very touched. Chu Feng was very sad. She knew that Ni Yang had always lacked the warmth of a mother. Emoshue was amazing. She danced a jazz dance and sang an English song. The atmosphere exploded. Then, a famous Beijing opera actress appeared. Although Huamin did not understand, he still listened attentively. She sang about the story of Liang Zhu, and it was very exciting. The senior city council leaders sitting in the first row couldn't help but clap. Looking back at the second row, Huamian's mother was crying. It seemed like the older generation really missed the story. During halftime, Annie Liang and 3 other GK artists, 2 men and 2 women, sang a song with a clear theme called The Taste of Summer. Then, there was the performance of famous domestic comedians. Everyone was very engrossed in the performance, and 10 national TV stations broadcasted it. 16 local channels all came to the venue to broadcast it live. The scene was unprecedentedly grand. Halfway through the show, the viewership reached 29.8%. It was an unprecedented viewership. After all of the guests finished performing, there was a live interaction segment. Maybe it was because Jean Lan was close to Su Yu. Therefore, she directly handed the microphone to Su Yu, who was sitting in the first row. President Su, as your competitor, do you have anything to say to us? I want to sing a song, is that okay? Su Yu slowly stood up. As soon as Su Yu finished speaking, the entire venue became restless. Everyone was shocked because no one had ever heard Lord Su sing before. Chapter 749. Su Yu had been at Imperial Star for many years, but he had never sung or performed. Even at Imperial Star's anniversary party, he had never sung a single line. But today, he actually said that he wanted to sing. Jean Lan looked at Qin Chu, who was beside her, awkwardly. Qin Chu nodded his head in agreement. He was never that petty. If Su Yu wanted to sing, he would let him sing. Let's see what he could do. Huamin was also slightly surprised. Su Yu wanted to sing? But she didn't understand. Jiang Shaowei whispered to Wei Liao, I have a feeling that this song will have something to do with Huamin. No way. If it's that explicit, the media will write nonsense about it. He's crazy. Lord Su is crazy. Tang Chuan couldn't stay calm anymore. However, no one was able to stop him from doing this crazy thing. The celebrities backstage couldn't stay calm either. As the big boss of the media, Su had always been the god of wealth and god in the eyes of the celebrities. Annie Liang had been at Imperial Star for many years, but she had never heard Su Yu sing. Tang Chuan and Wei Liao often went to nightclubs with him, but they had never heard him sing either. Wei Liao had always thought that Su Yu was tone-deaf. President Su is going to sing? I'm looking forward to it. Backstage, Annie Liang took a sip of water and smiled. Su Yu can sing? That's weird. Anai Yang also asked a lot of questions in the waiting room. Everyone was confused by Su Yu's actions. In front of the TV, Lady Su slowly sipped her tea and watched the TV. Her son was so stupid that he had to do such a thing in front of so many people. As a mother, she hadn't heard her son sing for many years, but she knew that Yu wanted to sing because the girl he liked was sitting in the first row. Su Yu was wearing a white suit and looked very handsome. After he walked up the stage, he walked directly to the white tripod piano in the corner. Then he slowly sat down. Lord Su wants to play the piano? Tang Chuan cursed again. Wei Liao was speechless. Wasn't he bewitched by someone? I suspect. Don't tell me that none of you have seen him play the guqin? Jiang Shaowei asked suspiciously. Wei Liao spread out his hands. In fact, we didn't even know that this guy could play the piano. Su Yu sat in front of the piano and took a deep breath. Then he glanced at Huamin, who was sitting in the first row. That gaze seemed to contain 1,000 words. Then, a beautiful melody resounded throughout the entire venue. Everyone held their breaths as they waited for the Crown Prince's performance. I want to see you laugh, I want to play with you, I want to hold you in my arms. 1 second, they were arguing with each other, and the next second, they were making up, I'm not afraid of you crying, I'm not afraid of you screaming, because you are my pride. I chase after you with my eyes, but my heart is already prepared for you. Just once is enough, I'll take you to see the end of the world, and laugh on a sunny day. I'll make noise in the free air. Do you know the only thing I want? The world is still small. I'll accompany you to the ends of the earth, and stop searching in a corner without worries. I'll slowly grow old in a carefree time. Do you know my heart beats with you? Su Yu closed his eyes and played the piano affectionately. His gentle voice spread to every corner. He didn't lose to those superstars at all. The song, Just Once, was played by Su Yu to the extreme of gentleness. Huamin suddenly felt a sour feeling in her heart, as if something was blocking her heart. She wasn't thinking too much. She knew that Su Yu wanted to confess to her. She just didn't expect him to present it in such a way. It was indeed shocking. Mian, if I didn't come back and you met Su Yu, would you still wait for me? Qin Chu's voice sounded in her ears. Chapter 750. To be honest, when Huamin first started dating Ning Ziyuan, she was very polite to her. The two of them never did anything intimate. Ning Ziyuan always wanted to get married, but Huamin kept delaying it. Even though she no longer had any fantasies about Qin Chu, she still didn't want to get married just like that. Later on, she realized that somewhere in her heart, she had been waiting for a certain someone to come back. It was just that those feelings were suppressed in the bottom of her heart, so she couldn't see it clearly. Later on, Qin Chu suddenly came back to China without any warning. That domineering kiss at the class reunion, that completely ignited the desire in her heart. She loved Qin Chu. She had loved him for the past 7 years. Previously, she had no choice but to give up due to the pressure and helplessness of reality. If she was given another chance to choose again, she still wouldn't forget Qin Chu. Because he was too important to her. He was so important that he occupied her entire teenage years. I will, Huamin said as she tightly held onto Qin Chu's hand. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. That warm gaze was more than 1,000 words. The moment Su Yu raised his head, he happened to see this scene. At that moment, he felt like a part of his heart was slowly being torn apart. It hurt so much that he couldn't breathe. It was only because he appeared late that he became the supporting male lead. He was so outstanding and so affectionate. He knew that his feelings for Huamin weren't any less than Qinchu's. However, he still couldn't receive her love, not even a loving smile. Everything Suyu did couldn't compare to Qinchu's gentle gaze. He suddenly felt like he was the most pitiful person in the world, at least at this moment. As he played the piano, he raised his head and looked up. He tried to stop the sour tears from flowing down from the corners of his eyes. Wei Liao also felt conflicted as he watched from below. What a sin! Why did he fall for her? This is probably fate. Jiang Xiaowei also sighed. At this moment, she realized how deep Su Yu's obsession with Huamin was. It was so deep that he was willing to sing for her in front of everyone. It was so deep that even though he knew he was being tortured by Huamin and Qinchu, he still didn't hesitate. He insisted on playing the last piece of the song. He stood up and gracefully bowed. The audience erupted into thunderous applause. President Su's voice isn't bad, and your playing is quite good as well. You really have a lot of hidden skills. And Yang sighed. President Su, singing such a love song. What's the meaning of this song? Is he confessing to someone? The celebrities backstage were all discussing it. Annie Liang rolled her eyes in disdain and said, "No one, it can't be that bitch Jen Tong. She pretends to be all high and mighty, but she's still hooking up with Su Yu behind his back. Otherwise, she wouldn't be where she is today. She slept with? She's not much better than that bitch Zhao Qingya." The #1 sister of Imperial Star Entertainment had been fighting amongst themselves for years, so the whole world knew that Annie Liang didn't like Jian Tong and Zhao Qingya. Everyone knew that Annie Liang had a sharp tongue, so they didn't want to argue with her. No one said anything. In front of the Lady Su was wiping her eyes with a tissue. "Madam, are you okay?" The maid carefully walked over. "I'm fine. Something got in my eye, but I'm fine now." "Do you need me to get you some eye drops?" "No, I'm fine." Lady Su watched the live broadcast with tears in her eyes. Her son was such a domineering and arrogant man, but one day he fell in love with a girl. He was willing to shamelessly express his love to her, even though he knew it wouldn't work. This silly child was similar to her when she was young. Once he fell in love, he went crazy. "Thank you for your performance, President Su. It was amazing. Now, let's begin our last performance. Let's welcome President Qin and Lady Qin." Huamin wasn't prepared for this and was a little dumbfounded. Qin Chu held her hand and walked onto the stage under everyone's watchful eyes. At that moment, the entire place went dark and only a beam of light shone on them. It was extremely bright. Chapter 751. The band began to play a live symphony in the dark. It was a beautiful waltz called Perunica Biza. It was a piece with a violin as the main theme. It was very grand and romantic. The way he chose this song was very much like Qinchu's. He had the style of a king and was very domineering. Huamin used to love this song as well. It was her first time listening to it live, and it was so good. You want to dance?" Huamin was a little surprised as she looked at Qinchu. Qinchu smiled but didn't say anything. Instead, he made an inviting gesture. Damn it. Why didn't he tell her in advance? They didn't even rehearse. But there were so many people watching, Huamin had no choice but to carefully reach out her hand and accept his invitation. Qinchu held her hand with one hand and wrapped his other arm around her waist. Then, they slowly danced. He leaned close to her face and whispered in her ear, "Don't be scared, Huamian. Just dance like we do at home, relax." "I'll deal with you when we get home," Huamin said angrily as she clenched her teeth. Qinchu looked at her and couldn't help but smile. To the people below the stage, their actions looked like they were intimate and loving. The Qin clan couple has been torturing single people for 30 years. In the past, they only tormented the two of us, but now they're torturing hundreds of people. This was Gao Ran's exclamation. "I think it's more like Qinchu is declaring his territorial sovereignty to Su Yu." That song just now was good. Even though it was very emotional and beautiful, Mr. Qin's waltz basically destroyed Su Yu. Zhu Lingling was a fan of Qinchu, so she was always on his side. Needless to say, Gao Ran was Qinchu's best friend. After Su Yu got off the stage, he sat beside Wei Liao and quietly watched Qin Chu and Huamin waltz intimately. Why are you doing this? You should have expected this outcome. Wei Liao felt that Su Yu was being irrational. In Qin Chu's territory, no matter what he did, he would not win. With Qin Chu's intelligence, he could win back the sovereignty in a matter of seconds. Unexpectedly, Su Yu just replied quietly, I didn't think that much. I just wanted to sing a song for her. Yes, he did not intend to confess, nor did he intend to show off to Qin Chu. He really wanted to sing a song for Huamin and play the piano for her. However, he never had the chance. Huamin would never give him the chance. Therefore, he took this rare opportunity to perform. Therefore, he did not think too much about it. He also knew that Qin Chu would not back down. For this waltz, most people had forgotten about Su Yu's performance just now, therefore what he did was really meaningless. However, what he wanted was very simple. As long as Huamin heard it. As for what other people said, he did not care. He really did not care. Jiang Xiaowei sat on the other side of Wei Liao and heard their conversation clearly. At this moment, she was no longer a fan of Su Yu. In the past, she had a bad impression of Su Yu. She always thought that he was a prodigal playboy who only knew how to eat, drink, and gamble. Now, it seemed that he was not. His love for Huamin was very restrained. It was the kind that made him feel wronged. After the waltz, Qin Chu took a bow with Huamin. Then, he took the microphone from the host, Jin Lan, and said gracefully, Thank you to all the guests here today. Thank you to President Su of Imperial Star for your impromptu performance. I am very grateful for everything that I have now. I am very grateful to GK for 30 years, and grateful to my wife, Huamin. Qin Chu's simple words weren't fake or official, they were sincere and touching. He held Huamin's hand and walked off the stage. The audience once again burst into thunderous applause. President Qin loves his wife so much. Wow, I'm so jealous. His wife must have saved the galaxy in her past life. Backstage, the celebrities were also very envious. Everyone in GK knew that President Qin was protective of his wife, so it was nothing new. The 4-hour ceremony finally came to an end. When all the guests appeared, more than a dozen reporters surrounded Su Yu. President Su, today is your first time singing, and you even sang a love song. Who did you sing for? Are you going to announce your relationship? President Su? President Su, are you hinting that you already have someone you like? As expected, Su Yu's performance attracted a lot of attention. They all wanted to know who the lucky woman was. Chapter 752. I'm sorry, that's my private matter, Su Yu responded with a smile. President Su, are you talking about Miss Jian Tong? Rumor has it that a few days ago, on Miss Jian Tong's birthday, the two of you were seen eating together at a high-end Western restaurant. President Su, rumor has it that Miss Jian Tong's new red Ferrari was a birthday present from you. President Su, your grandfather once said that the Su family doesn't want a woman from the entertainment industry as a granddaughter-in-law. Does your grandfather know about this? President Su, please respond. Miss Jian Tong has always been the female lead in all of Imperial Star's investments. Is it because the two of you are a couple? These reporters were speechless. They actually brought up Jian Tong. Su Yu didn't deny it. He simply smiled, then his assistant, and blocked all of the reporters for him. Everyone, please move aside, we're leaving. President Su's refusal to publicly deny it meant that he was admitting it. As for why he did this, it was simple. He didn't want these people to write nonsense and drag Huamin down with them. So, Su Yu was really going all out. The feeling of silently protecting someone was to bear everything without feeling wronged. When he's serious, he's really manly. Wei Liao smiled. Lord Su is on the path of a lovesick dog. Tang Chuan helplessly shook his head. That's not bad, it's something to think about. Jiang Xiaowei, on the other hand, felt that if there was someone that she liked so much, even if they couldn't be together, it was still a form of happiness. Different people had different opinions. Right? Everyone had different thoughts in their hearts. After the ceremony, it was already afternoon. All of the guests left one after another. and Qin Chu and the older generation of artists said goodbye. Huamin went to the dressing room to remove her makeup. Then, she changed out of her evening gown and into her yellow SpongeBob SquarePants printed on it. She walked out wearing a baseball cap, white sneakers, and black pencil pants. Sister Huamin, you did well today, your waltz was very impressive, and Yang praised with a smile. Don't mention it. I was like a duck being forced onto a perch. I almost ruined the show. It can't be? Did President Qin not inform you beforehand? No rehearsal? And Yang couldn't believe it. You won't believe me even if I tell you. He's such a capricious person. Capricious beyond belief. Huamin sighed in his heart. With such a powerful weapon at home, he really had to be on tenterhooks all the time. As she walked out of the dressing room, many GK employees greeted her, a young lady. Annie Liang suddenly appeared beside Huamin. What's up? Huamian took a sip of Evian water. A young lady, I was immature before. I hope you won't hold it against me. Annie Liang changed her attitude. I won't. I'm a public person, I won't take revenge on you. Plus, I don't think I have a grudge against you. I was jealous of you. I think a young lady is a very smart person, and you arranged everything well. I hope you'll take good care of a young lady in the future. I won't ask about GK's business. I'm a nurse, for now. Huamin realized that Annie Liang was here to express her goodwill, and her attitude towards him did a 180-degree turn. The truth was, Annie Liang didn't have any animosity towards Huamin before, it was only because she was poached by Jiang Linyue. She had always heard Jiang Linyue slander Huamin, so for some reason, she also felt animosity towards Huamin. Now that the ceremony was over, she suddenly realized that this woman's position in President Qin's heart was unshakable. A young lady, I was immature before, please don't hold it against me if I offended you. Annie Liang politely bowed towards her. Huamin was dumbfounded. Chapter 753. Hey, don't be like this, I really don't need to do that. Huamin was dressed like a child and had a glass of water in his hand. Annie Liang, on the other hand, still hadn't taken off her gown and was wearing 7-inch heels. She suddenly bowed and apologized to Huamin. This scene was quite strange. I know, but President Qin's love for you is beyond words. Anyways, I hope that a young lady will put in a good word for you in the future, I'd appreciate it. It turned out that Annie Liang wasn't stupid. After seeing how much President Qin loved his wife, she finally decided not to offend this woman. Not only was she loved by President Qin, but she was also very smart and capable. Just as she was removing her makeup backstage, she heard people talking about how Jiang Linyue offended a young lady and was exiled. She was even disqualified from attending the 30-year anniversary party. How terrifying. When this woman made a move, she really didn't give you a way out. Annie Liang suddenly realized that she shouldn't go against Huamin. Okay, work hard. Also, be careful of the paparazzi. As an artist, don't let them catch you. In other words, Huamin wanted Annie Liang to pay attention to her personal life and not let anyone take pictures of her. Of course. After talking to Annie Liang, Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling, and Jixin walked out with their mother. Don't go, we'll wait for Qin Chu to come out and eat together. Huh? Eat together? You're not eating with the executives? Zhu Lingling was confused. No, it's over. Huamin smiled. Okay, what is brother-in-law treating us to? Jing Jixin smiled brightly. He really liked his brother-in-law. He was also the only person who didn't hate Qin Chu after that incident. I don't know yet, we'll talk about it later. Mom, are you tired? Huamin walked over and held his mother's hand. No, sis, you don't know how engrossed our mother was in the show, especially during the Beijing opera. Oh my God, she couldn't take her eyes off it. She ignored me when I spoke to her. Jing Jixin was exaggerating a little. Yang Meirong said embarrassedly, I'm getting old. Although it's popular to chase after celebrities in my time, I was influenced by my grandmother when I was young. I especially loved to listen to Peking opera. It's so good. I'm glad you like it. They waited here for less than a minute. Qin Chu came out and changed out of his casual clothes. What do you guys want to eat? Since it's godly tycoon Qin's treat, why don't we take the opportunity to eat? It doesn't matter what we eat, the most important thing is the feast, Gao Ran joked. In that case, why don't we eat in the Chinese restaurant of this hotel? Here? It's expensive, isn't it? Yang Meirong was a little worried. Don't worry, this is our hotel. My family? Brother-in-law, you bought this Ritz-Carlton? Jing Jixin was shocked. Yeah, it's convenient for meetings, Qin Chu said nonchalantly. Zhu Lingling, Gao Ran, Yang Meirong said, Kid, how much is this? You're spending money like that. Let's go, don't keep everyone waiting. Then, the group went straight to the Chinese restaurant on the top floor of the hotel. They booked the most luxurious private room and served a total of 28 dishes. Everyone was dazzled by the dishes. Huamin picked up his phone and called Jiang Xiaowei. After a few words, he couldn't invite her because if she came, Wei Liao would come. If Wei Liao came, what about Suyu? What about Tang Chuan? This was a family dinner, so it wasn't appropriate for them to come. Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling had been good friends for many years, and they were no strangers to Jixin and his mother, so the atmosphere was very good. During dinner, Jing Jixin played with his phone. Playing with your phone again? You're still chatting with you? Huamin leaned over and peeked. She's been acting weird these past few days. I feel like she's hiding something from me, Jing Jixin said with a frown. Chapter 754. Is it because of the exhaustion period of love? Are you tired of looking at other people? Zhu Lingling laughed. No, I'm not that kind of person. Sister Lingling, don't you know me well after all these years? Maybe I'm overthinking. Let's eat. Jixin put away his phone and continued eating with everyone. During dinner, Yang Meirong suddenly looked at Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran and said, You two are so perfect for each other. It'd be great if you two could be together. Gao Ran, and Zhu Lingling, Andy, stop messing around. Jing Jixin, be together, Huamin, be together, be together. Finally, Qin Chu, who had always been quiet, added on. He only said 3 words, be together. Gao Ran, are you guys hitting me when I'm down? Zhu Lingling immediately became angry and pushed Gao Ran. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by hitting me when I'm down? It's as if you're wronged. You want to be with me, but I don't even like you. Here we go again. Are you trying to pick a fight with me again? Is it fun to do this every time? It is. Zhu Lingling looked at Gao Ran majestically. By the time they finished their meal, it was already late. Gao Ran drove Zhu Lingling home while Jixin drove his mother back to the old house. Mom, after my exams, I'll help you move. You don't have to live in the old neighborhood anymore. Okay, I wanted to move a long time ago, but I don't want to leave Auntie Wu and the others. They've been neighbors for so many years. It's okay, I heard that Auntie Wu's son bought a new house in the city. I'll arrange for you guys to meet up often. Huamin comforted his mother. Yay, we're going to live in a big house. I'm so excited. It's all thanks to my brother-in-law. Jing Jixin smiled brightly. Okay, stop flattering me. Hurry up and go home. Drive safe. I know, you're so long-winded, just like Mom. Jing Jixin made a face at Huamin and left the hotel with his mother. Huamin, who was behind them, slightly sighed. Look at Jixin, he's like a child. Everyone says that I'm against him dating. How immature. Honey, of course, you don't have to emphasize this. What do you mean? Do you think I'm too long-winded? Huamin pouted and looked at Qin Chu with resentment. I wouldn't dare. It's been a tiring day, and you've worked hard too. Let's go home. When they were 3 minutes away, Qin Chu's phone rang. He pressed the speakerphone button because he was too lazy to wear his headphones. Of? Qin Chu. I am, Qin Chu replied calmly. I'm Isher. These words caused Qin Chu's expression to change slightly. Isher? He repeated uncertainly. Well, I just got off the plane. Can you come and pick me up? The woman's voice was very pleasant. How about this? I can't leave. I'll get someone from the company to pick you up. All right, see you later. After hanging up, Qin Chu turned to look at Huamin. Why are you looking at me like that? Huamin looked at him, amused. Don't you have anything to ask me? No. Huamin deliberately played with his phone and didn't even look at Qin Chu. You don't mean what you say. Qin Chu smirked. Alright, then I'll ask. Ka Fuzisher? Your ex? She finally raised her head and asked. Her womanly instincts told her that this woman had an unusual relationship with Qin Chu. Chapter 755. You flatter me. You're my first wife, how could I have an ex? The truth was, Huamin knew this as well, they were each other's first loves. How could there be an ex? She was just trying to sound him out. Then who is she? Your relative? No, she's the daughter of my dad's good friend. Her parents went abroad when she was little, and she stayed with us for a year. Then, she went abroad with her parents as well. Later, her parents came back, but she didn't. I heard that she's been in Italy for years. Then how did she get your number? That's amazing. What's so hard about that? Her parents are still in the city. Her last name is Song. Do you know who her father is? Don't tell me it's Song Qinghua? Huamin was talking about the director of the Ministry of Land and Resources. He was someone with a lot of power. That's her uncle. Her father is Song Jiangwo. Song Jiangwo? Oh my god. Mayor Song? Yes, the current mayor of Sea City was Song Jiangwo, and apparently, he was the older brother of Song Qinghua, the director of the Ministry of Land and Resources. Qin Chu nodded. The mayor's daughter, she's? Huamin was a bit surprised. That's why GK has developed so quickly. Uncle Song has always been close to my dad, and after I took over, he took great care of us and gave us lots of land. So you're saying you're her real childhood sweethearts? Huamian asked sourly. Honey, are you jealous? Qin Chu looked at Huamin's pouting lips, amused. I'm not jealous, Huamin said unhappily. Okay, be good, what childhood sweetheart? We were only 8 years old when she stayed with us. What do we know? She left, and we never contacted each other again. You really didn't contact her? She didn't go to you when you were in the States? Huamin thought that the States and Italy weren't that far apart. They were both overseas, so did they really not see each other? No, not even once. Come to think of it, I haven't seen her for 21 years, really. Qin Chu was a man who didn't lie, and Huamin trusted him very much. All right, I'll reluctantly believe you. What do you mean by barely believing me? You have to believe me, okay? I'm just curious. Since she's the mayor's daughter, why didn't anyone pick her up when she got off the plane? Why did you have to go? How would I know what she's thinking? Qin Chu felt wronged. If I wasn't in the car, would you have gone to the airport? Honey, let's not talk about this anymore, okay? The vinegar jar is overturned. It's really sour. You're the jealous one. Huamin laughed and punched him. The two of them returned to South Hill Manor. Assistant Yang was ordered to pick her up from the airport. He followed the instructions and stopped at exit H. Sure enough, he saw a tall beauty there. She was about 1.7 meters tall, wearing a pink floral dress and a round straw hat. She looked very fashionable. He slowly parked his car in front of her. Excuse me, are you Miss Song? Hello, I'm Song Yisher. The woman smiled. Assistant Yang was a bit dumbfounded because this woman looked a lot like Lin Jieling. She even looked like Lin Jieling when she smiled sweetly. Hello, Miss Song. President Qin called and told me to pick you up. Okay, thank you. Song Yisher was very polite. She didn't wait for Assistant Yang to get out of the car and put her luggage in the trunk without any hesitation. Then she sat down in the back seat. Assistant Yang drove a black Bentley today. President Qin personally ordered him to drive her, so it was obvious that this girl wasn't an ordinary person. Miss Song, where are we going? Let's go to Golden Home in the new government district first. Song Yisher's father went abroad for an official visit, and her mother followed him to South Africa. Therefore, no one came to pick her up, so she had to go to her uncle's house first. Okay. Assistant Yang nodded. He thought to himself, That neighborhood is full of big bosses from the government. It seemed like this girl was the daughter of a government official. Is Qianchu busy today? Song Yisher suddenly asked. Yeah, President Qin and a young lady were busy with the ceremony. A young lady? Qianchu is married? Song Yisher was a bit surprised, and her expression became complicated. He's married. He's been married for half a year now. But didn't he only come back to China for half a year? He got married as soon as he came back, that's all, Assistant Yang said slowly. Song Yisher seemed to be in a bad mood. She looked out the window and didn't say anything. Miss Song, you and our president are good friends, right? Assistant Yang asked. Chapter 756. Friends? Oh no, we're not friends. Song Yisher smiled. Then she looked out the window and didn't say anything else. Assistant Yang didn't dare to say anything else, afraid that the president would be upset if he said something wrong. After Huamin and Qianchu returned to South Hill Manor, they took a shower and went to bed. It was an exhausting day. The long-planned ceremony was finally over. Including the lucky draw, GK spent almost 80 million yuan on it. However, it was all worth it. After this event, GK's reputation in Asia would be even greater, and its status would be unshakable. Honey, are your relatives gone yet? Not yet. Then, when are they leaving? Qianchu looked at Huamin with sad eyes. I think in a day or two. I'll wait a little longer. After all, it's immoral to run a red light. What? You want to run a red light? Mr. Qin, that's enough, okay? The couple didn't forget to tease each other in bed. Honey? Yeah. Did I embarrass you at the dance today? Other than stepping on my foot 3 times, everything else was fine. Qianchu said quietly. It's your fault for not telling me in advance. You made me look bad. Also, I've only heard that song before, but I've never danced. You're crazy, okay? What if I made a fool of myself? I won't. Qianchu lovingly patted her head. Why not? I'm not an immortal. You're better than an immortal, because you're Huamin. Qianchu was always full of confidence in Huamin. He always knew that his wife was smart and wise. She was always able to turn the tide in times of danger and fight side by side with him. She wasn't a little woman who hid in a gentle nest. Oh, I like what you said. Huamin knew that Qianchu always trusted him. She reached out her hands and intimately wrapped them around his neck. You've worked hard too. Let's have a good sleep tonight. Yes, after your relative leaves, we'll continue to make more babies. Here we go again. Can't you be a little more pure? Huamin said helplessly. I just want a baby. Why do you think I'm impure? Is carrying on the family line such a shameful thing? All right, you win. Go to sleep. Huamin rudely pressed Qianchu's head. The two in-laws fell asleep sweetly amidst their playful banter. Huamin didn't worry about the future because of Song Yisher's sudden appearance. However, she didn't know that this Song Yisher would become her greatest enemy in history. This was because Song Yisher's attributes and equipment were too strong. Her EQ and IQ were also high. She was not an easy opponent like Green Tea Bitch and White Lotus. Of course, this was all in the future. The next morning, Hubby, I'm going to the wedding today. Are you coming? I don't have time. Okay, then I'll go alone. I don't think you'd want to go to Lu Xing's wedding anyway. But did you really decide to be the bridesmaid? Qianchu still felt wronged for his wife. Yeah, I promised her. Then you have to dress up and look better than the bride. Qianchu looked at her gently. No, that's what green tea bitches do. Since I promised her, I won't steal her limelight. A woman only looks like a princess when she puts on her wedding dress. It's only for one day, how could I bear to do that? So you decided? Qianchu looked at her confusedly. So I decided not to wash my face. I'm going to go barefaced, huh? Qianchu, with your current status, if the media takes a picture of you, you should think about what to do. I'm kidding, of course I have to wash my face. Even if I don't care about my own image, I still have to care about Mr. Qin's. I'm just not going to wear makeup, Huamin said as she took a sip of milk. Okay, all right, I'm meeting with Hua Zhenghai today. Do you have anything to tell him? Like how I'll help you get revenge? Qin Chu asked as he held a sandwich. Chapter 757. No, I have a better way to deal with him. Don't get involved in the Hua family's business, it's a mess. Hua Min always thought that the Hua family's business was too messy and difficult to deal with. Therefore, she didn't want to drag her husband down with her. Most importantly, she had Hua Xiqian as an ally, and he wasn't easy to deal with. Hua Xiqian and I are more than enough to deal with those idiots. We don't need a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. Honey, I'm leaving. Okay, be careful on the road. Qin Chu gently watched as Hua Min drove away from their home in Nanshan. She drove all the way to the manor in the suburbs. It wasn't far, and she arrived in less than 30 minutes. When Lu Xing saw Hua Min, she didn't look hostile at all. In fact, she looked a little happy. Hua Min washed her face, but she didn't put on any makeup, not even a basic skincare routine. Her skin didn't look as fair as usual, but she still had a good foundation. She rarely put on makeup, so she still looked beautiful without makeup. She was wearing a long orange suit and a very low-key watch from Longines. She looked very impressive. You're here. Lu Xing had already changed into her wedding dress and had her hair up. Hua Min nodded. Go and get me my bridesmaid dress, Lu Xing instructed her assistant. Just me? Bridesmaid? Hua Min asked confusedly. Yeah, just you. I'll do my best. Hua Min smiled. Her assistant brought over a light purple dress. The style was very ordinary, and the color was also very normal. But that was right. Bridesmaids were supposed to set off the bride's beauty. The wedding starts at 9 p.m. You should get some rest. Oh, I'll let my makeup artist do your makeup. It's okay, I'm fine like this. You're the prettiest today. Hua Min looked at Lu Xing's big eyes. She had always been a good girl, but she fell in love with the wrong person. Many of our classmates will come too, but I didn't invite Zhu Lingling. I hate her. Lu Xing had always been straightforward. It's okay, she won't mind because she doesn't like you either, Hua Min replied. That would be best. Lu Xing nodded. Hua Min took out a big red envelope from her bag and handed it over. Congratulations on your marriage. This is a blessing from Qin Chu and me. Hearing Qin Chu's name, Lu Xing's expression changed slightly. She took the red packet and smiled bitterly. Thank him for me. The money is mine. He didn't pay a single cent. It's my own money. You should thank me. No, I have to thank him. All these years, he never gave me any hope. That's why I was able to give up and get married. If he had given me even a little bit of hope, I'd probably be stuck in a quagmire for the rest of my life. Mr. Qin isn't that kind of scumbag. He's always treated women in black and white. There's no gray area, and he doesn't flirt with women. So, you're too lucky. Some people say that you saved the galaxy in your past life. Did you know that? Lu Xing looked at Hua Min with envy. I think so too. Hua Min rubbed his chin immodestly. Lu Xing carefully put away the red envelope, as if she really treasured this gift. Although the Lu family was rich and didn't lack money, Lu Xing might have already decided to forget about the grudge between her and Hua Min. She never thought that Hua Min would actually be a bridesmaid. She called him that day because she was a little angry. She didn't think that Hua Min would actually agree. So, at this very moment, Hua Min deserved her respect. See, Auntie said that your wedding shoes are too high. She's worried that they're not safe, so she wants you to change into flats. Is that okay? Her assistant walked over and asked carefully, She's only a month pregnant, there's no need to be so pretentious. You're pregnant? Hua Min was surprised. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.